Rebirth, earning $1 billion right after divorce. One moment of clarity, Lin Rui realized he had wasted his life. Given a second chance, he steps into a golden era, mastering global trends and seizing every opportunity. More importantly, he is determined to win back his beloved wife's heart. A fortune worth billions dedicated to seeing her smile again. Chapter 1: The Car Accident. Love until your heart breaks, but don't blame anyone. Just because the encounter was too beautiful. Spring City. A taxi weaved through their bustling streets. The driver, feeling the atmosphere in the car was too oppressive, turned on the radio. The end theme of the then popular TV drama Princess Pearl played softly. In the back seat sat a man and a woman. The man leaned against the side, his eyes closed. The woman turned to gaze out of the window. Listening to the song on the radio, her otherwise dull eyes turned slightly red. Unconsciously, her hand moved to her lower abdomen. She was pregnant. Again. It should have been a joyous occasion. Yet, for her and Lin Rui, it was the final straw that broke the camel's back. Memories of the past floated in her mind: meeting at university, falling in love, getting married. They had shared so many beautiful moments. But all of it had turned to nothing, now etched into the bruise on the corner of her mouth. She hadn't dared to tell Lin Rui about the pregnancy. Yesterday, she had tried to talk to him, only to receive a slap in return. This child, she wanted to keep. But she couldn't let Lin Rui be the father. And so, she chose divorce. The taxi was now heading to the Civil Affairs Bureau. What made her laugh bitterly was that Lin Rui had fallen asleep beside her. He didn't care. Not one bit. It had always been a lie. From the very beginning, it was all a cruel joke. At some point, Lin Rui's brows furrowed, and his hand instinctively clutched his chest. The melody from the radio reached his ears. What was that song? He tried to open his eyes but felt as though they were weighed down with lead. His head was muddled, like a pot of glue. Rubbing his temples, he slowly opened his eyes. He saw he was in a taxi. Beside him, Chen Shuajia? What was happening? Lin Rui was utterly bewildered. He couldn't tell if this was a dream or something else entirely. In this dream, he vividly remembered this day. The day they were on their way to divorce. It became the moment he regretted the most. On the way, they got into a car accident. A black Santana ran the red light and crashed into the side where Chen Shuajia was seated. Lin Rui emerged unscathed, but Chen Shuajia fell into a coma. After the hospital's emergency treatment, their unborn child, barely 2 months old, was lost. Complications during surgery left Chen Shuajia unable to conceive again. Instead of comforting her, Lin Rui, the bastard that he was, accused her of betraying him. At the hospital, he made a scene, pushed her into despair, and drove her to jump from the hospital roof. Her brother, Chen Xiafeng, stabbed Lin Rui twice in a fit of rage, landing him in prison for severe assault. Their mother couldn't bear the loss. After burying Chen Shuajia, she hanged herself. Their father suffered a stroke from the stress and passed away. Lin Rui's own parents, overwhelmed with grief, died within a few years. Years later, Lin Rui tried to pass on his fortune and a listed company to Chen Xiafeng upon his release. But Chen Xiafeng pulled out a knife during their meeting and stabbed Lin Rui in the heart. Scenes from their dream played in Lin Rui's mind like a chaotic movie reel. The sudden roar of the engine broke his thoughts. Wait. The car accident. This intersection. The taxi accelerated, trying to beat the last few seconds of the green light. Beyond the intersection lay the fateful road. Stop. Stop the car. Lin Rui shouted suddenly. The driver was startled by the outburst but didn't ease his pressure on the gas pedal. The car sped through the intersection. Lin Rui's head buzzed. Seated behind the driver, he wanted to act but couldn't. As they approached the turn, he saw the black Santana emerging from the corner. Without hesitation, he grabbed Chen Shuajia and shielded her tightly beneath him. Bang! The impact flung Lin Rui's shoulder into the crumpled car door. Screeching tires echoed as the vehicles came to a stop. Are you okay, Shuajia? Are you hurt? Lin Rui hurriedly helped Chen Shuajia up, scanning her anxiously from head to toe. I'm fine. Her pale face betrayed her fear, but she wasn't injured. Looking at Lin Rui, she noticed a small cut on his forehead where blood trickled down. It wasn't deep, just caused by shattered glass. They scrambled out of the car. The taxi driver was arguing with the driver of the Santana, a woman. Passers-by gathered around to watch. The crash was severe. Lin Rui, confirming that Chen Shuajia was unharmed, stared blankly at the wreckage. If what he had experienced was a dream, this accident was real. The vividness of the dream felt overwhelming. But if it wasn't a dream, what was this now? Chen Shuajia, slowly recovering from the shock, noticed Lin Rui's gaze and pulled out a tissue from her bag. "Here," she said, handing it to him. "Huh?" Her words snapped Lin Rui out of his thoughts, and he finally felt the sting of his forehead wound. Was this reality? Seeing the concern in Chen Shuajia's eyes, which he hadn't felt in so long, Lin Rui's guilt surged like a volcano. He pulled her into an embrace. "Shuajia, I don't want a divorce. Please, give me another chance." Chen Shuajia froze. Recalling how Lin Rui shielded her during the crash, a hint of warmth touched her heart. But memories of the past 2 years quickly turned it cold. She pushed him away and shook her head. "I've given you enough chances, Haven Ti." Her icy gaze felt like a blade slicing through Lin Rui's heart. This situation was entirely his fault. Chapter 2, Divorce. What kind of sin have I committed? Lin Rui knew he couldn't push Chen Shuajia into a dead end. If he acted unreasonably, she might actually go through with it. The image of her jumping off flashed in his mind. He originally wanted to mention the child in her belly, but now it was impossible. Before she jumped, Chen Shuajia had said that the child was her only solace. She hadn't intended to tell him and planned to raise the child secretly. To her, having the child would have been enough for a lifetime. But now that the child was gone, she felt she had nothing left. Bringing up the child now would only further agitate her. In her eyes, Lin Rui wasn't even worthy of being the child's father, let alone deserving to know about its existence. If he tore through this fragile layer of understanding, who knew how she might react to the child? Lin Rui forced himself to calm down. Ice doesn't freeze overnight, he thought. A few words of apology wouldn't bring her back to him. It was pointless to say anything now. For her, divorce was the only way out. If he didn't agree, she would take the divorce agreement to court. By then, there would truly be no chance of reconciliation. Since it was irreparable, it was better to start anew. Clenching his fists, Lin Rui vowed to himself, "Shuajia, no matter what, since the heavens have given me this chance, I will live my life for you. 1 year, 2 years, even if it takes my whole life, I will win you back." The brief interruption on the road changed nothing. Chen Shuajia flagged another taxi and sat in the front passenger seat before Lin Rui could react. After hesitating for a moment, Lin Rui still got into the car. On the way, Chen Shuajia's phone rang. She answered it with a brief remark, promising to repay the money as soon as her salary came in 2 days. There was no need to ask, it was a debt collection call. Lin Rui's phone had been off for ages, leaving all debt-related calls directed at Chen Shuajia. While Lin Rui could hide, she couldn't, as she had a job to protect. If she avoided them, the collectors would escalate the situation to her workplace, potentially costing her her job. Even up to their divorce, Chen Shuajia hadn't considered pushing the debt onto Lin Rui. Slap. Sitting in the back seat, Lin Rui gave himself a hard slap across the face. The sound was loud, but Chen Shuajia didn't react. The driver glanced at Lin Rui through the rearview mirror. This man is pathetic, he thought. The divorce is definitely the right decision. Soon, they arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau. Standing before the bureau's doors, Lin Rui felt paralyzed, unable to take a step forward. Ahead of him, Chen Shuajia stopped but didn't urge him. Instead, she quietly observed a newlywed couple leaving with smiles on their faces, her emotions a complex mix. Once upon a time, they had walked out of this very place, certificates in hand, filled with happiness. Now, she was waiting for him to walk in and end it all. Lin Rui gazed at her back and couldn't help recalling their school days and the early years of their marriage, when they walked side by side. Back then, they were the envy of many. And now, she was waiting for him to finalize their divorce. The thought tore at Lin Rui's heart. Taking a deep breath, he approached her. "Shuajia, let us go inside." Without looking back, Chen Shuajia stepped forward resolutely. Her determination silenced Lin Rui's protests. The divorce process wasn't too complicated. Lin Rui kept his eyes red-rimmed, holding back his emotions, while Chen Shuajie appeared composed. But he noticed her trembling hands when she handed over the application, her head bowed, her hair concealing her reddened eyes. It was evident that she was deeply pained as well. "May I borrow a pen and paper?" Lin Rui asked the staff, who handed them over. He quickly began writing. Chen Shuajie glanced at him, puzzled. Just as she was about to ask what he was writing, her phone rang. It was her brother, Chen Xiefeng. He had come to help her move out after the divorce, as they had agreed she would leave the house to Lin Rui. Outside the Civil Affairs Bureau, Chen Shuajie stood at the entrance, gazing at the scene before her with teary eyes. Hearing Lin Rui's approaching footsteps, she quickly wiped her tears and turned around. "You should go back later. I'll pack my things today and move back to my parents' house," she said. "There are 2 bags of frozen dumplings in the fridge. You should learn to cook for yourself." Lin Rui's heart clenched. Even now, she was still concerned for him. "Lin Rui, you're such a bastard. Thank you for still caring for me. It's my fault. I lost you," Lin Rui said seriously. "We still have 30 days to reconsider. I'll change." 30 days. Chen Shuajie laughed bitterly, tilting her head to keep her tears from falling. "I clung to the memories of our past for nearly 3 years. I endured your scolding and yelling, hoping you would change. But you didn't, and you never will. Lin Rui, let us not meet again. Please." Her voice broke, and she could no longer continue. Lin Rui was near collapse. As she turned to leave, Lin Rui grabbed her hand and handed her a signed statement. "This overrides the divorce agreement. The house is yours, and I'll take on the debt. If you want to live with your parents, I won't stop you. Having them take care of you gives me peace of mind. Even if I stay in the house, I'll pay you rent on time." Startled, Chen Shuajie took the statement and read it. He wrote this just now. Yesterday, he hadn't hesitated to sign the agreement and even talked about selling the house to gamble. His pleading expression left her momentarily at a loss for words. Just then, the sound of hurried footsteps broke the moment. Lin Rui turned to see Chen Xiefeng approaching angrily. As expected, Chen Xiefeng landed a solid kick on him, sending Lin Rui crashing into the wall. "Xiefeng, stop it." Chen Shuajie pulled her brother back. Seeing the divorce certificate in her hand, Chen Xiefeng asked, "Sis, it's done?" "Yeah." "Good. It's about time." Chen Xiefeng threw another kick at Lin Rui, then snarled, "If you're a real man, the house belongs to my sister, and you take the debt. Don't ever bother her again, or I'll kill you." Lin Rui endured the pain and handed him the statement. "Xiefeng, I've written it all here. Please, be careful with your sister. Don't let her strain herself." At those words, Chen Xiefeng froze, then snatched the paper. Watching the siblings walk away, Lin Rui's gaze lingered on Chen Shuajie's figure. Chen Xiefeng was right. He was garbage. If he wanted her back, he had to prove himself through actions. Words meant nothing now. Lin Rui braced himself against the wall, standing up slowly. The pain was vivid, the reality undeniable. If this wasn't a dream, then there were things he needed to confirm. Chapter 3, No Win, I'll Take Your House. Lin Rui walked toward the Third People's Hospital. This was the hospital where Chen Shuajie had been taken after the accident. As he looked at the building, his gaze fixed on one particular spot. That was where Chen Shuajie had jumped, the place where his heart had broken. Even though he had stopped everything from happening, and the events in the dream hadn't occurred, seeing that spot still caused him unease. He needed to rewrite everything. His fists clenched, his gaze averted, and he walked toward the lottery store, which was about 500 meters east of the hospital. Arriving at the store, Lin Rui muttered a curse, hating himself. In his dream, on this very day, Chen Shuajie had been rushed to the hospital for surgery, and he had come to this lottery store to buy a ticket. What kind of scumbag was he? It was on this very day that the lottery ticket, worth only 2 yuan, had won a prize of 100,000 yuan. According to the timeline, that ticket hadn't been scratched yet. That was why Lin Rui had come. On one hand, he wanted to verify whether his dream was real. Although the accident had occurred in real life, he was still unsure about some details. On the other hand, starting anything required seed money. With just over 500 yuan to his name, he couldn't do much. And in his dream, he had never touched the lottery ticket again. This was his last chance. He took a deep breath and was about to step inside when someone grabbed his shoulder. I say, if you have money to buy a ticket, you should at least pay me back. You can't just keep ignoring your debts like this. The voice was familiar. Lin Rui didn't need to guess who it was. Turning around, he saw a young man with a square face, his high school classmate and his creditor, Fang Daming. More accurately, his father was the real creditor. Fang Daming was a rich second generation. Fang Daming looked at Lin Rui with disdain, sneering, "So you think turning off your phone means I can't find you? You think your wife will pay for you and that I'll go easy on you? You know, back in high school, I never pushed you too hard. But now? Seriously, do you have any self-awareness? If it wasn't for you telling me your business failed and asking me to lend you a hand, I would never have guaranteed you a loan from my father. But look at you now. Your wife is struggling to pay off your debts while you're wasting money on this lottery." Lin Rui had to admit, he was grateful to Fang Daming. After all, despite all the debts, Fang Daming hadn't pressured him too much. If it hadn't been for that, the debt collectors would have been at his door by now. Although Fang Daming's words were somewhat insulting, they also carried some truth. Lin Rui looked at him and said, "From now on, I'll repay all my debts. My wife has nothing to do with it." "Oh." Fang Daming sized him up and said, "What's this? You've got some guts today. But do you have the ability?" "Don't worry about my ability. I'll repay every cent," Lin Rui responded firmly. "All right, if you're serious, let us talk terms. How many installments are you thinking? How much will you pay each month?" Fang Daming asked. Lin Rui took out his money and said, "I have this much for now. After I leave here, I'll have around 80,000 yuan. I can pay you 30,000 now, and the rest will be settled within a month." Fang Daming blinked, sneered, and said, "What? Are you thinking you'll win the lottery? Do you really think you can just walk in here and win? How much have you lost over the years? Don't you have any self-awareness?" Just then, Lin Rui noticed someone walking across the street. It was the person who had won the 100,000 yuan prize from the scratch-off lottery ticket. "You talk too much," Lin Rui muttered as he brushed past Fang Daming and entered the lottery store. Fang Daming was stunned. What was this about? He couldn't understand what was going on, and now he was being treated like this? As he stepped into the store, someone came out. The store wasn't big, and the door was narrow, so Fang Daming had to step back. Lin Rui approached the counter, where a middle-aged man with a cigarette in his mouth was standing. "How many 2 yuan scratch cards do you have?" Lin Rui asked. The man glanced at him and replied, "About 200. Lin Rui placed 500 yuan on the counter and said, "I'll take all the 2 yuan ones." The man lazily took the stack of 2 yuan scratch cards from the glass cabinet and said, 275. 550 yuan. Lin Rui took out another 50 and threw it on the counter. "This is all I have. Is there any more?" The man snorted, "Do you think I'm not going to sell to you?" The man tossed the stack of cards onto the counter, slapping the money, and pocketed it. "All right, just making sure there's nothing more," Lin Rui said as he grabbed the cards and walked out. He could scratch them anywhere, no need to do it in the store. At that moment, Fang Daming entered, his face cold as he confronted Lin Rui. "What's this supposed to mean?" Lin Rui ignored him and focused on the person entering behind him. He heard the man ask the shopkeeper, 5 2 yuan scratch cards, please." "They are all sold out. The ones you just saw are gone." "Then I'll take 2 5 yuan cards." Lin Rui didn't need to hear any more. He turned to Fang Daming and said, "Let us talk outside." Fang Daming, furious, muttered, "You want to talk? Fine, we'll go outside." As they stepped outside, Fang Daming was eager to confront Lin Rui, but Lin Rui walked straight toward the car parked on the roadside. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" Fang Daming jabbed his finger at Lin Rui's chest. "I've been patient with you, but now you're crossing the line." Lin Rui remained expressionless, saying lightly, "Take me to the lottery center." To claim a large prize, one had to go to the lottery center, which wasn't nearby. Lin Rui barely had enough money for a cab. Fang Daming couldn't hold back a laugh. "You think I'm your chauffeur now? What do you want me to do for you? Lin Rui retorted, aren't you curious whether I won or not? Fang Daming raised an eyebrow, glancing at the stack of scratch cards in Lin Rui's hand. He sneered, what? Did you have another dream last night? Which god told you these scratch cards are a sure win? Are you crazy? Maybe I am, Lin Rui answered. Fang Daming was seething, fine, I'll play along with you this time. But listen carefully, if you don't win, tomorrow I'll come collect your house. Chapter 4, A Dream, What I Dreamed About. I damn well told you not to act so cocky. Fang Daming was really burning with anger. With scratch-off lottery tickets, if you've won, you just scratch it off and you'll know. But Lin Rui, on the other hand, he didn't scratch a single one, insisting on going to the lottery center. Seriously, what's the point of acting so smug when you've already hit rock bottom? Where do you get the nerve to act like that? What really pissed him off was that the money he lent to Lin Rui was out of trust. Afterward, when Lin Rui didn't repay him, Fang Daming didn't go to ask for it back because he wanted to be considerate, remembering their past friendship and not wanting to make things too harsh. But now, when they met, Lin Rui not only didn't show any gratitude, but when Fang Daming kindly offered some advice, Lin Rui had the nerve to mock him. What's this called? Giving face and not taking it. Winning the lottery, huh? Winning your damn prize. He already decided that as soon as they came out of the lottery center, he'd slap Lin Rui in the face. This damn guy really had no shame. Anger built up inside him, waiting to explode. But after arriving at the lottery center, he started to have second thoughts. There weren't many people at the lottery center, and when Lin Rui arrived, he immediately handed over his ID. To claim the prize, it had to be linked to the winner's identity. This was also why Lin Rui hadn't scratched the tickets earlier. To put it simply, scratch-off tickets are worthless until they are scratched. Once they are scratched and their SA win, if Fang Daming snatched it, it would cause some trouble. But when the staff asked about the winning ticket, Lin Rui pulled out a bunch of unscratchable tickets. The staff's expression. It was like they were looking at a fool. And they also included Fang Daming in that judgment. Because really, you haven't even scratched the tickets and you're here to claim a prize. There's something wrong with your head. Fang Daming also realized this. He had been so angry earlier, but now he was wondering if Lin Rui had gone crazy with the lottery. For a moment, he felt sorry for Lin Rui and dragged him aside, saying, all right, stop making a scene here. I was just angry earlier, you. Before he could finish, Lin Rui interrupted, let us be clear, if I win, I'll pay you back the 30,000 first. The rest, within a month. When he heard this, the staff gave the two of them another glance and sneered lightly. They'd seen people use things to pay off debts, but this was the first time they'd seen someone use a pile of UN scratch tickets to settle a debt. The person owing money was a fool, but the one asking for money was even more of a fool. What the hell are you laughing at? Fang Daming slammed the marble counter, making his hand hurt. What's wrong with laughing? You control everything, now you even want to control my laughter. The staff member wasn't a pushover either, saying, who are you to act tough here? Whether you claim the prize or not, if you're not happy, just get lost. At that moment, Lin Rui said, sorry, don't be like him. Fang Daming looked at Lin Rui, cocking his head. Can't tell good from bad, huh? He treats you like a fool, and I'm helping you, and you turn around and lecture me. Lin Rui shook his head helplessly, saying, just shut up for a minute. Fine. Lin Rui, you really. Fang Daming slapped the scratch-offs. Come on, tell me, how much do you expect to win? 100,000. Lin Rui replied. The 2 yuan scratch-off tickets had a grand prize of 200,000, second place 100,000. Win 100,000. Does he know how unlikely that is? Holy shit. Fang Daming pointed at Lin Rui, really speechless and starting to think Lin Rui was out of his mind. Alright, you're saying you'll win 100,000, right? If these tickets don't win you 100,000, you better eat all these tickets. What if I win? Lin Rui asked in return. Fang Daming's eyes widened. If you win, I'll eat them. Without further ado, they started scratching. Lin Rui moved on from one ticket to the next. This stuff doesn't take much time if it's not a win, just move on to the next one. Quickly, they were halfway through. During this time, he won two small prizes, one for 10 yuan and another for 100 yuan. But 100,000 still seemed far off. However, Lin Rui wasn't in a rush. Scratch-off tickets are simple, no special trick to it. If you're a bit picky, you can choose tickets from the middle, but he didn't know which specific tickets the person sold him. Watching him scratch off ticket after ticket. 2/3 of the tickets were gone, and Fang Daming scoffed. Still not giving up, huh? Your dream. Your fairy. Isn't it working anymore? Did your fairy in the dream tell you that if you don't win, you have to eat all these tickets? You know, you're not a bad guy, just a bit of a chatterbox. Lin Rui said casually, while scratching the tickets. I'm not worried, why are you? Still acting calm here? Fang Daming said, honestly, you should go to a mental hospital. Playing with this stuff could drive you crazy. I feel sorry for you. You haven't even finished scratching. Apologize to me and I'll let you go, give you some more time for the money, or I'll give you a little something to get checked out. Otherwise. Before he could finish, Lin Rui stopped scratching, looked at him, and said, if you don't want to be embarrassed, just shut up. Wait, what the hell? Claim the prize. Fang Daming's words got stuck in his throat. Lin Rui ripped off one of the recently scratched tickets and handed it straight to the window. Wait. Did he win? What the hell, is this for real? Fang Daming tried to lean over to see the ticket, but bang. He slammed his head against the glass, holding his head and saying, are you sure you saw this right? Lin Rui ignored him. The staff member looked at Fang Daming with a displeased look before focusing back on the ticket Lin Rui had handed over. They looked at it, blinked, looked again, eyes wide open. Holy shit. 100,000. He really won 100,000. They had seen their fair share of claims, but this was the first time they'd seen someone win right after scratching live. What's even more surprising was that before scratching the ticket, Lin Rui had said he'd win 100,000. It felt indescribable. The staff member held the ticket, staring in shock at Lin Rui through the glass. Lin Rui, meanwhile, calmly finished scratching the rest of the tickets, gathered the winning ones together, and said, can you help me claim these too? The staff finally snapped out of it and quickly took the tickets, saying, no. No problem. These small value ones can be claimed right away. The 100,000 won will be transferred to the designated account within 2 business days. You can take it out in cash, with 20% tax deducted, so you'll get around 80,000. When Fang Daming heard this, his head buzzed. Did he really win 100,000? He really gets 80,000 in hand? Everything had been said so clearly. Thinking back to everything that had happened with Lin Rui today, could it be that he already knew he'd win before buying the tickets? But, how is that possible? Transfer it to my account, Lin Rui responded. The paperwork wasn't too complicated, just a few signatures. Fang Daming had thought Lin Rui would make him eat the losing tickets, but after leaving the window, Lin Rui held the small winning prize of 220 yuan in one hand and threw all the losing tickets into the trash can with the other. I owe you one. Fang Daming looked at Lin Rui with a complicated expression. He had expected Lin Rui to gloat, to show some arrogance after winning 100,000, but there was nothing on Lin Rui's face. He was completely calm, as if he hadn't just won 100,000. This surprised Fang Daming, and feeling embarrassed, he said, how did you know those tickets would win? Lin Rui looked at him and said, didn't you already know? I dreamed about it. Stop pulling my leg. Seeing that Lin Rui didn't want to explain, Fang Daming said, look, tell me how you did it, and I'll forgive you for the 200,000. We could even team up. Lin Rui shook his head and said, this stuff is easy to get into but hard to get out of. I'm just an example. Don't get involved. No. Fang Daming looked at Lin Rui, saying, Lin Rui, haven't I been good to you all this time? When you borrowed money from me, I didn't. Chapter 5 Brother, you are my dear brother. Hospital? Emergency room. Fang Daming was startled, and then reacted. After realizing what was happening, he was furious and reached out to grab Lin Rui by the collar, saying, you're done, what the hell do you mean? Are you cursing my dad? I just said 2 harsh words to you. You won $100,000, so what? Do you want me to bow my head and kowtow to you? Lin Rui did not resist and let him grab him, saying, did you believe that I could win 100,000 before? Fang Daming frowned deeply, stared at Lin Rui, and said, "What do you mean by that?" Lin Rui sighed lightly, raised his hand, pushed away the hand that was grabbing his collar, and said, "If you want to save your father, rush to the hospital before 3 o'clock in the afternoon." Before Lin Rui could finish, Fang Daming angrily said, "You're not done yet, are you? My dad and I just had a physical checkup yesterday, and we got the results today. There's nothing wrong with us. You're stupid. I'm really giving you some face." Lin Rui waved his hand, not wanting to listen to his nonsense, and said, "Have you checked your heart? What can an electrocardiogram reveal? Forget it, if you don't believe me, just pretend I never said anything. From now on, I will keep my phone on so you can find me at any time. When the prize money arrives, I will return the 30,000 to you as soon as possible." Without saying anything else, he just waved, called a taxi, got in and left. He had said it clearly, but he couldn't decide whether to believe it or not. In fact, for people who have some money, regular physical examinations are a normal thing. But some diseases cannot be diagnosed through physical examination alone. In that dream, on the day Chen Shuijia was in the hospital, Fang Daming's father had a heart attack and was rushed to the hospital, but he could not be saved. Car accident, scratch lottery tickets all came true. What about Fang Daming's father? Fang Daming stared blankly at Lin Rui leaving. His brows were furrowed. Is he angry? This is inevitable. No matter who it is, they would be furious if they heard Lin Rui say this about their father. But it is also true that I won 100,000 yuan on a scratch-off lottery ticket. What to do now? What if Lin Rui is right about what happened, just like with the scratch lottery? Fang Daming didn't dare to gamble, because that was his father. If something really happened and he knew about it but didn't do anything, he would regret it and cry to death. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right? Fang Daming took out his phone and called his father, saying, "Dad, where are you? I'm drinking with some old friends." "What's the matter?" Father Fang's deep voice came from the phone. "Dad, tell me the address and I'll come find you." Lin Rui looked at the old building, somewhat dazed. This is where he and Chen Shuijia live. When we got married, my parents gave us some money, and Chen Shuijia and I had some money, so we bought this house. To be honest, with Chen Shuijia's conditions, it would be no problem for her to find a rich man, live in a better place, and enjoy a better life. However, she chose to stay by herself in such an old second-hand building. Not picky about anything and never complained about anything. But how could I lose such a good woman? Just as I was climbing up the stairs, I heard 2 footsteps from above. I thought it was Chen Shuijia and Chen Xiafeng, and I was delighted. I looked up suddenly and found that it was the old couple next door. "Uncle Liu, Aunt Wang, go out." Lin Rui greeted them. Xiaolin is back." Uncle Liu responded, but Aunt Wang at the side pulled him. Kuai Biu also walked past Lin Rui with a look of disgust on his face. "What did you say to him in reply? When someone greets you, what's wrong with saying hello back? He scolds and quarrels every day. Xiao Chen is such a good girl, but he drove her away. This kind of person is just trash. You should talk to him less in the future." These words were not at all reserved towards Lin Rui. Lin Rui paused, said nothing, and walked upstairs with heavy steps. After opening the door and looking at the 50-square-meter house, Lin Rui felt heavy and couldn't take a step forward. Because there is a key at the door. The key belongs to Chen Shuijia. So long. Lin Ruizai picked up the key and walked into the house. Everything is so familiar, yet everything feels so strange. Open the bedroom door. The wedding photo that was originally hung on the headboard of the bed disappeared, leaving only a square outline. All of Chen Shuijia's clothes in the closet disappeared, but the others were neatly arranged. To be exact, it's not like after the things are taken away, all that's left is a messy scene. It was obvious that Chen Shuijia cleaned every place before leaving. Lin Rui didn't know what kind of mood she was in when she cleaned the whole house, but he could imagine that Chen Xiafeng would definitely ask, "Why did she clean the house for that bastard?" I glanced at the drawer below. There is a gap in the drawer. Lin Rui had forgotten what was inside. When he opened it, he saw a photo album. Sitting on the bed, flipping through the pictures one by one. Inside were all his and Chen Shuijia's wedding photos. He slowly flipped through them, looking at At a certain moment, Lin Rui froze on one page. There was a vacant spot there. If I remember correctly, the photo here should be a photo of him and Chen Shuajia in college. It was on the campus. Lin Rui hugged Chen Shuajia, and Chen Shuajia happily snuggled in Lin Rui's arms. Shuajia took this photo away. At this time, Lin Rui's phone rang. As soon as he saw the number, Lin Rui quickly picked up the phone and said excitedly, "Shuajia, what's the matter? You said, you." "I'm fine." Chen Shuajia said in a somewhat cold voice, "Have you gone home? I just want to tell you that I left the key in front of the door. Also, if you want to pay the electricity bill, go ahead. Sister, why do you care so much about him? Whether he lives or dies, it has nothing to do with you." Chen Shuajia was silent for a moment, then said, "If there's anything you don't know, please call me again. Otherwise, don't contact me anymore." Lin Rui said, "Shuajia, there's a thief in our house." "A thief?" When Chen Shuajia heard this, she immediately became nervous and said, "I locked the door when I left." "What did you lose?" "A photo in the album." Lin Rui said. There was silence on the phone. Beep beep. Listening to the dead tone on the phone, Lin Rui smiled. "I took the photo, but I couldn't forget myself. This situation of starting over is great." Suddenly, I didn't feel so heavy anymore. A little later, Lin Rui was cooking frozen dumplings when the phone rang. When I looked at the number, it was Fang Daming calling, so I answered the phone indifferently. "Hello. Brother Lin, you are my real brother." Fang Daming cried and said, "I was wrong, I was really wrong." "Wait a minute." Lin Rui frowned and asked, "You didn't take your dad to the hospital?" "Brother Lin, you are my biological brother. I brought my dad here just because you said so. To be honest, I was angry, but you were right." At 2:50, my dad suddenly felt uncomfortable in his heart and fell to the ground the next moment. He had a heart attack. A heart attack. If he hadn't been in the hospital, my dad would be gone now. At this point, Fang Daming couldn't stop crying, and at the same time he said, "I shouldn't have said that to you before. From today on, you are my real brother. You don't have to pay back the 200,000 yuan. If I ask you for the money again, I'll be a beast." Lin Rui sighed lightly and said, "Let's put things in perspective. How is your father now?" "I need bypass surgery, but it's not a big deal." Fang Daming said solemnly, "Brother Lin, you saved my father's life, which is more important than any amount of money. If you need money, just ask. How much do you want? As long as I can do it, I will never say no. Don't mention the 200,000 yuan anymore. I will never ask for it. I don't want money, just help me." Lin Rui said. "Brother Lin, you said, if it's anything I can do, I will do it without hesitation." Fang Daming said. "You have connections with the football betting in Australia City, right?" Lin Rui asked. "Yes, I have." Fang Daming was stunned for a moment, and asked, "Brother Lin, what do you mean?" Lin Rui said, 200,000, I won't ask for it for nothing, if you trust me, then join me. Chapter 6 Pressing the Ball. Betting on football now is not as convenient as it will be later. The specific reason why it started to become popular on a large scale was after Hong Kong's return to China. The football betting guide of Hong Kong was brought back to the mainland by tourists. Subsequently, in Guangzhou and Shenzhen, under the dim lights of bars, people began to discuss the water level and handicap in a low voice. Small dealers with tattoos on their arms would often come up to you with beer and ask if you needed to buy a ticket. Ticket is a jargon. Betting hundreds or thousands of dollars on each game is like buying a ticket to the scene and buying 90 minutes of excitement. 1 hour before the game starts, the bookmaker will make a phone call to a distant unknown place, which may be in Australia or in Europe. Gamblers do not need to pay, and after the game, they will settle accounts with the bookmaker regularly based on their wins and losses. For this year's World Cup, Australia City organised the largest football betting in history. There is only one final game left, which is also the most popular and the one with the most bets. And this is Lin Rui's purpose. However, if you want to join this football betting, you can't do it without connections. At least Lin Rui doesn't have this connection at the moment. Fang Daming's family lends money, so he naturally has contact with all kinds of people, so it is most appropriate to find him. Brother Lin, when it comes to gambling on football, 9 out of 10 times you'll lose. To be honest, I've never seen anyone actually make any money. Brother Lin, you. Fang Daming said. He didn't say anything else, but his meaning was clear. This was also for Lin Ming's own good. Since the start of the World Cup, he had seen too many people lose money. He was very careful when putting money out during this period, fearing that it would be involved in gambling and he would lose everything and not be able to pay back the money. Lin Rui had just won the lottery, and he had forgiven his debt. Wouldn't it be okay to have some money to live a good life? He didn't play the lottery anymore, so why did he get involved in this? To be honest, he didn't bother to care before, but now Lin Rui saved his father's life, and he is a grateful person. Lin Rui understood what Fang Daming meant. He thought he was a good person, so he ignored his words and asked, "How long does it take to place a bet? How long does it take to return the bet?" Fang Daming thought for a moment and said, "Just place your bet 2 hours in advance, and you can get your money back the next day. The finals will be held the night after tomorrow, which is the early morning of the third day. The scratch tickets redeemed will be deposited into the account within 2 working days, so the time is definitely not fixed." Lin Rui said, "As soon as the scratch-off lottery money arrives, I will give it to you. It should be in time." Before Lin Rui finished speaking, Fang Daming said, "Brother Lin, you are insulting me, aren't you? Just tell me how much you want to bet, and I will give it to you directly. Why do I need you to come and give me money just because of this matter?" Lin Rui hesitated for a moment, and then said, "Okay, 80,000, bet on the French team, 3-0, a big win over Brazil." At this point, he emphasized again, "Remember, France beat Brazil 3-0, I bet on the number of goals." There are several ways to bet on football. One is to bet on which team will win, and the odds for this are not that high. However, if you bet on the number of goals won, the odds are much higher. I want to emphasize this again so that Fang Daming must not make a mistake. When Fang Daming heard this, his face twitched and he said, "Brother Lin, we won the lottery, but we can't play like this. You are just throwing the money into the wind. Brother Lin, don't you understand football or watch it? Let me tell you, Brazil is the favorite this year, the defending champion, and has won the World Cup 4 times before. It has stars like Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Carlos, Cafu, etc. Although France is their host, it is the first time for them to reach the final. The two teams are not in the same league at all. Brother Lin, if you really want to bet, I won't stop you. Let's bet less, 1,000 or 2,000. Even if we lose, we won't feel bad, right? 80,000. Brother Lin, your scratch tickets only have 80,000 in total. You threw it all in at once. You're. He thought Lin Rui was crazy. If you say France will win, then it is possible. After all, nothing is absolute. But if you say France beat Brazil 3-0, then that is ridiculous. In this World Cup, Brazil has been advancing triumphantly, killing all who stand in its way. But in the finals, it failed. In Fang Daming's opinion, the probability of this is about the same as winning 5 million. Remember, 80,000, not a cent less. Lin Rui said firmly, "This 80,000 is just a temporary loan from me. I will return it to you immediately after the result of the game comes out. Remember, don't make a wrong bet. As for whether you bet or not, it's up to you. But I tell you, as long as you bet 20,000, the 200,000 I owe you can be offset. Invest 20,000 to even it out." Fang Daming was stunned. Is this a tenfold rate of return? Indeed, betting on France to win is already an underdog, let alone betting 3-0. To be honest, such odds are already considered low. After all, football betting is not as popular now as it will be later. How much money can be put into a handicap? For example, many years later, Germany beat Brazil 8-1. A drunk man placed such a bet and became extremely rich overnight. Fang Daming heard Lin Rui's firm tone and hesitated for a moment before saying, "Brother Lin, let me give you the 80,000 yuan. If you win, it's yours, and if you lose, it's mine." Before he could finish, Lin Rui refused and said, "No, this 80,000 has nothing to do with you, whether you win or lose, just consider it as helping me. Don't worry about your father's affairs. I'm grateful to you for taking care of me before. As for the 200,000 I owe you, I'm giving you the opportunity to make money. If you trust me, invest. No matter how much you invest, how much you earn, it's all yours. If you don't trust me, forget it." These words are indeed a bit inhumane, but there is a saying that goes, money is easy to make, but favors are hard to repay. Lin Rui didn't want to owe Fang Daming any favors. His father's affairs could wipe out everything that had happened before, because it was not worth owing a favor for 80,000 yuan. If not, Lin Rui could borrow more from Fang Daming, bet more, and earn more, but there was really no need for that. There are plenty of ways to make money. But if you want to repay a favor, the price you have to pay may be higher. Fang Daming heard this and felt that Lin Rui was really too ungrateful. He said in a cold voice, "Okay, let's do this. I'll help you invest the 80,000 yuan. No matter what, I have to say thank you again for my father's matter. What else can I say? If it weren't for my father's matter, I would have cursed at this ungrateful person in just a few words. No more chatting." Lin Rui could naturally feel Fang Daming's attitude, but it didn't matter. The specifics would be known after the result of the competition. As for whether Fang Daming could make money, if he was given the opportunity, the 200,000 yuan debt would be written off. If he didn't trust him, he couldn't beg him to invest. It was enough to say that he had said it. After hanging up the phone, Lin Rui continued to sort out the many chaotic thoughts in his mind. Many ways to make money do need to be sorted out. Then he remembered something. Something big happened in Chun City where I live. A jade pendant appeared on Huarong Street. This jade pendant is an antique with a short history. It is from the Qing dynasty. I remember it was called Liu Wenpei. It was bought for 50,000 yuan by someone who knew the business, who then went to the appraisal center, applied for an appraisal certificate, and sold it for 1 million yuan through an auction house. Now that we know this advantage, we naturally cannot let others take it away. However, 50,000 is still too much for me right now. The money can be deposited into the account at any time within 2 working days. Previously, the focus was on football betting. After all, the rate of return is higher and it is also relatively easier to operate than this jade pendant. Now, since Fang Daming is willing to advance the money, there are more possibilities for operation. Therefore, the only thing I was worried about was that the buyer from my previous life arrived too early. But as long as I can hold on until the funds arrive, I will definitely be able to get this jade pendant. Fang Daming put down the phone and dialed a number, saying, "Brother Bo, help me win the game." 80,000, forget it. 100,000. When the other side heard this, they all laughed and said, "France 3-0 Brazil. Do you have money but nowhere to throw it? If you have nowhere to throw it, just throw it to me. I don't mind if it's too much." Fang Daming curled his lips. He knew it would be like this. It was so embarrassing. He said, "I was dreaming. I dreamed. Is that not okay? Don't talk nonsense. Just bet as I said. I will transfer the 100,000 to you later." After hanging up the phone, the other party's mockery lingered in his mind, which made him very unhappy. Never mind. No matter what, it is true that he saved his father. The money is gone, and I can talk to Lin Rui about it and ask him to behave himself in the future, which can be regarded as repaying his kindness. But there was one thing he couldn't figure out. How did Lin Rui know that he would win the lottery? And about his father, he clearly remembered that when Lin Rui told him, he clearly said that his father had heart problems. He didn't believe that Lin Rui could do anything. If he could, how could he have become what he was before? But if not, then these two things are too accurate. This made him very confused. No matter what, in the end, he didn't really trust Lin Rui. There was an element of gratitude, but more of it was a kind of disdain for Lin Rui. After all, the impression Lin Rui had left on him over the years was already deeply rooted. Chapter 7, Flow Patent Pendant. The next day, Lin Rui found an excuse and called Chen Shuajia. "Shuajia, there's a power outage at home. Maybe you owe electricity bills. Where is the electricity bill card?" In fact, the electricity bill card was in the drawer in front of Lin Rui. Lin Rui just wanted to hear Chen Shuajia's voice. He missed Chen Shuajia very much. "Last night, I basically didn't sleep all night. The pillow and bedding were filled with the sweet scent of Chen Shuajia. Whenever I closed my eyes, I felt that Chen Shuajia had not left me and was lying beside me. But when I opened my eyes, there was nothing there." Thinking about the past bits and pieces. Thinking about all the hardships Chen Shuajia had to go through while following him, he felt so heartbroken and felt like a bastard that he had been before. How could that be? I just paid the electricity bill half a month ago. Chen Shuaijia's voice was a little weak, but she still told where the electricity bill was. She didn't sleep well last night. Looking at that photo from college, all kinds of scenes linger in my mind. No matter what, the love was once so deep and engraved in my heart, how can I forget it or break up with it just like that? The most difficult thing in the world is love. In addition, I don't know if it was the sadness of divorce or something else, but I actually had pregnancy reactions and vomited 3 times in one night. I didn't dare tell my family about my pregnancy, otherwise, now that I'm divorced and I have a child in my belly, my parents will definitely not let me keep it. Chen Shuaijia has thought it through and is very determined about this child. No matter what, she will give birth to their child. This is her baby. So, even if I vomit, I dare not speak loudly. After a busy night, I didn't eat much in the morning. How could I be in good spirits? Maybe the electricity bill is gone. Lin Rui said this, and then he heard the sound of the station announcement coming from the phone. It was obvious that Chen Shuaijia was on the bus. He said, "Shuaijia, are you going to work?" Chen Shuaijia responded softly, "Last night, my mom, aunt called me and said that my family had sold corn and wanted to transfer 3,000 yuan to me. I refused. I didn't tell them about us because I was afraid that my uncle and aunt would get angry. Please find a suitable time and call them." Hearing this, Lin Rui felt a pain in his heart again. Why did he send money? It was because he wanted to pay off his debts. It was not the first time that his parents sent money to Chen Shuaijia without telling him. But he found out. What did he do? He had a big fight with Chen Shuaijia, got the money back, and invested it in the lottery again. My family is from the countryside. It's not easy for my parents to earn money by farming. It's all hard-earned money. I have ruined them all by myself. His younger sister is still in college, but he doesn't help the family. Sometimes, he even asks his younger sister for money. It can be said that he is a blood-sucking parasite that sucks everyone's blood. Lin Rui clenched his fists tightly, his nails digging into the flesh of his palms, and said, "Shuaijia, I was wrong, very wrong. I am awake now, really awake. I don't expect you to forgive me right away, but I only ask you to give me another chance. At least don't let me disappear from your sight. I hope you're fine, but it has nothing to do with me." Chen Shuaijia said, "I'm at my stop." After saying, just hung up the phone. On the bus, Chen Shuaijia looked at a pregnant woman sitting in a seat and her husband beside her, her eyes full of envy. There is no such thing as great wealth and fame, just an ordinary life with a smile on the face. Very simple and honest. But she was indeed envious. But Chen Shuaijia felt that all of this was very far away from her. Specifically, she once had it, but everything was gone, and it became a luxury. She's ready. For the sake of the baby in her belly, she must be strong. She took a deep breath and looked outside the car. There was a hint of emotion in her eyes and her red lips moved slightly. I wonder what she was thinking. On the other side, Lin Rui put down the phone, feeling extremely sad. His wife was pregnant and was still on the bus. Chen Shuaijia was already weak, and from the voice he had just heard, his mental state was not very good. As for the divorce, he was still thinking about himself, and he was worried that his parents would not be able to bear it and would get angry. Every little thing was like a knife cutting his heart. But what else can I say? I ran to Chen Shuaijia and said, "I know you are pregnant. Don't go to work and don't take the bus anymore. I can support you and your daughter. I can give you a better life. I have changed. Come back. I only have about 200 yuan in my pocket." Why? It's useless to say it. If it were useful, Chen Shuaijia would not leave me. So Lin Rui's goal is very clear, to make a lot of money, to get back the white moonlight in his heart, and then to pamper her to the sky, never to lose her again. Lin Rui didn't call his parents. I don't know what to say on the phone, and most importantly, I'm too embarrassed. After calming down and having a simple breakfast near my home, I took a taxi to Huarong Street. This is an antique market. There are shops of all sizes, stalls in front of the doors, and some jewelry stores on the street. The whole street is not small. He only knew that the jade pendant was on this street, but he didn't know which store it was from. Jewelry shops cannot be excluded. Some jewelry shops also deal in antiques, especially those in Huarong Street. They even went door to door searching, and even the street vendors were not spared. Fortunately, Lin Rui had seen a photo of the jade pendant and knew what it looked like. I spent most of the day strolling around Huarong Street and didn't even have lunch. Some vendors have some good stuff that is not very visible, so you really need to question them a bit, which is indeed time consuming. It was almost 3 in the afternoon. Lin Rui felt that his legs had been numb for a long time, and then he found this jade pendant in a store. The boss is a woman, fat, looks a bit tough, and has a cigarette in her mouth. But to be honest, no matter how tough she is, it was the first time that Lin Rui saw a female boss on this street. As for the store, it was neither big nor small. It was just a medium-sized store on this street. It was quite clean and the things were arranged in an orderly manner. It can be seen that this is a boss who looks rough on the outside but is actually meticulous on the inside. Lin Rui naturally couldn't just go for the jade pendant. Pick and choose, chat for a while. There were not many people in the store. The female boss saw that the young man looked very energetic. After chatting with him for a while, she found that he was quite talkative and sweet-mouthed. He called her sister all the time, which made her feel happy to entertain him. Brother, if you are giving it as a gift, especially to a girl, then choose some antiques. This turquoise bracelet is good, much better than those bracelets and pearls. It is tasteful and outstanding. I guarantee that you can get a room card right after you give it to her. I will tell you some stories and history about this turquoise. This will give you more things to talk about, said the female boss. This is the person who knows how to do business. No matter what you say, as long as you can fool the customer, the deal will probably be done. I can see that you are a person of temperament, and I feel that I am compatible with you. Lin Rui said with a smile, however, this time, I am planning to pick a gift for an elder. Hey! This jade pendant is good, sister, can you take it out and let me see it? Brother, you have a unique vision. The female boss took out the jade pendant and said, this is an item from the Song dynasty. I talked a lot about this and that I had worn. The bosses here are all the same, just for the sake of bidding. Lin Rui listened, his face was calm, but his heart was filled with ecstasy. That's it. Sister, how much is this? Lin Rui asked. During this process, the woman was also secretly sizing up Lin Rui. To be honest, she didn't have much hope. He was dressed very ordinary. She said, one price, 50,000. 50,000? It doesn't matter whether that person didn't bargain at the beginning, or the boss raised the price to 50,000, or he looked down on me. This price is okay. Lin Rui pretended to be silent, looked at it for a while, and said, sister, can you make it cheaper? No, this is an antique. I don't care if you ask for more, said the female boss. Okay, I'll go shopping again. Lin Rui put it down decisively. Seeing Lin Rui's decisiveness, the female boss said, brother, 45,000, okay, you can take it. Let me take another look. Lin Rui said. The female boss saw this and thought, this guy is not sincere, so she stopped trying to stop him. Lin Rui didn't go far. To be exact, I have been keeping an eye on this store. Until the sun sets. Lin Rui came back again and said, sister, can you let me see the jade pendant again? Seeing Lin Rui coming back, the woman was delighted. It was easiest to do business with returning customers. She didn't open the shop today and was about to close, but, his back. Okay, brother, let's keep the previous price, 45,000, the lowest. As the female boss took out the food, she said, I really didn't care how much you asked for. Lin Rui pretended to hesitate and said, sister, I've been shopping for a long time, and I think this jade pendant is the most suitable gift for someone. But it's getting late, and it's too late to go to the bank to withdraw money. So, I'll come to pick up this jade pendant tomorrow. It's 50,000 yuan. I won't bargain with you. In addition, I'll give you another 200 yuan deposit. Just give me 1 day. If I don't come to pick it up tomorrow, the 200 yuan is yours. Come on, I'll take the jade pendant for 50,000 yuan. If you sell it during this period, you have to compensate me 50,000 yuan. If that's okay, sister, please write me a receipt. What do you think? Chapter 8. We all have to be strong, right? The lady boss blinked. My head is really confused. I've been doing business for so long but this is the first time I've seen anyone raising the price on their own initiative. In one night, I earned an extra 5,000 yuan, so what else can I say? There is also another 200 yuan, although it is not much, but it is not a big deal to keep the jade pendant. If I don't come to take the money, it will be a waste. Why not take it for free? This jade pendant has been here for a while and I haven't sold it yet. I'm not losing money anyway. As for Lin Rui, there was really nothing he could do. The money has not arrived. He was not sure if it was that small, but it was bought by someone else before the money arrived. He gave such a restriction in the hope that the lady boss would pack up the item and not show it to others. 200 left directly. The female boss also wrote a simple receipt on paper, pressed her fingerprint, and put the jade pendant directly into a box that looked pretty good, and placed it under the counter. Seeing all this, Lin Rui felt much more relieved. Now the jade pendant belongs to him and he is just waiting for the money to arrive. But then again, Lin Rui has no money. I still have $25 in my pocket. After a long day of running around, I didn't even have lunch, so I was already starving. Fortunately, I have a bag of frozen dumplings at home. Although it was not made by Chen Shuajia herself, it is full of the flavor of his wife. On the other side, Chen Shuajia received another call from Lin Rui's mother. Mom, it's not easy for you and Dad to earn money. Lin Rui also needs money to go to college. We can't help much, this. Chen Shuajia said. 3,000 yuan. Although Chen Shuajia had refused before, she still transferred it. Mother Lin's kind and humble voice came over, with a little crying, saying, Shuajia, Mom knows you feel wronged. My son is not worthy of your kindness, and you have suffered a lot. Mom doesn't ask for anything from you, but I just ask you to be well. As long as you are well, it will be worth it even if Mom dies of exhaustion. Mom, don't be like this. Chen Shuajia felt very uncomfortable. No matter what Lin Rui was like, she always treated Lin Rui's parents as her own parents. The old couple were really sincere to her. She really wanted to tell them about the divorce, but she couldn't bear to do it. No more, no more. Mother Lin sobbed and said, don't give this money to Lin Rui. Keep it for yourself and don't make yourself suffer. This is all I can do. You and Lin Rui haven't been home for a while. I know you are busy. My kid is a jerk. If you don't mind, come back to see me during the Mid-Autumn Festival holiday. I don't miss that jerk. I miss you. Lin's mother always felt that she owed Chen Shuajia. Their family is from the countryside, Chen Shuajia is from the city, she is pretty and virtuous. When they got married, they kept the gift a secret from their family, and used their own savings to make up for the loss. She was not picky about anything and followed Lin Rui wholeheartedly. They felt that their ancestors were blessed to have such a good daughter-in-law, but their own rascal. Oh. I'm really worried about it. Chen Shuajia's eyes turned red after hearing these words. After choking up for a while, he said, Mom, you and Dad, take care of yourselves and don't work too hard. If we have time, I will go to see you and Dad. Put down the phone. Chen Shuajia's pregnancy reaction came again, and she felt nauseous. I quickly walked to the side, held onto the wall, and just retched, but nothing came out. She didn't eat much all day. I stroked my belly, feeling confused. Although divorced, there are still many things that I have no clue about. Let it be. Chen Shuajia said to herself, exhaled lightly, and then slowly went upstairs. When we got home, Chen's parents had already prepared the meal. The fragrance was everywhere, but when Chen Shuajia smelled it, she felt retching. I didn't want my parents to notice, so I forced myself to sit on the table. After forcing himself to eat 2 bites of food, Chen's mother Wen Guilan said, Why do you look so unhappy? Come on, eat more. If you want to get a divorce, then so be it. It's just garbage. There's nothing to be nostalgic about after a divorce. Instead, you should be happy. Come on, eat more. Talking. He picked up an egg and put it into Chen Shuajia's bowl. Chen Shuajia said nothing. When Guilan glanced at Chen Shuajia and said, I played cards with your Aunt Hu and her friends today. Your Aunt Hu's nephew is called Zhao Kuan. You have met him before. Don't you remember him? R. Chen Shuajia responded. When Guilan turned her head and said with a smile, I may be tired now. I opened for seafood restaurants. It takes more than a month, and it costs at least tens of thousands of dollars. I asked your aunt who to help you. When I get a reply, you can meet and have a meal or something. Hearing this, Chen Shuejia's face suddenly darkened. What is this for? She just got divorced, how can this be a glorious thing? Why did you just say it directly? It's fine to say it, but why do you still have to arrange a blind date for her? Mom, are you going too far? Chen Shuejia said. Before I could open my mouth completely, Wang Guilan put down her chopsticks and said, what are you going too far for? Are you going to be single for the rest of your life? You're divorced, so why can't you find someone else? I'm just preparing a loan. You don't have to worry about my affairs. Chen Shuejia said. What are you talking about? Wang Guilan had a straightforward temper and immediately got angry. She said, what do you mean we don't have to worry about it? If we don't have to worry about it, you should find me a good son-in-law. I stopped you at the beginning, did you listen? What's wrong with you now? You're still a bastard, and we're still divorced. If I don't care about you anymore, and you find me another bastard like that, will you let me and your dad live? At this time, Chen Baohua, Chen's father, tried to smooth things over, saying, after all, a husband and wife are bound by love for 100 days. Shuejia just got divorced, you should give her some time to calm down, you have no right to speak, just eat your meal. When Guilan glared at him and said, you were the one who couldn't come up with any ideas at the beginning. You said that young people should work hard and they will definitely be able to make a name for themselves. You are half responsible for Shuejia's current situation. Chen Baohua is indeed a henpecked husband. After being glared at by Wen Guilan, he dared not say a word. Chen Shuejia didn't want her parents to continue arguing, but just as she was about to open her mouth, she felt uncomfortable in her stomach, covered her mouth and rushed to the bathroom. No matter how bad-tempered Wen Guilan is, she really cares about her daughter. What's going on? Chen Shuejia came out of the bathroom a little later and said, maybe I ate something bad. You guys eat, I'll go lie down for a while. When Guilan wanted to say something but was stopped by Chen Baohua. In the bedroom, Chen Shuejia lay there uncomfortably and could hear her parents talking through the door. Listen. My eyes really turned red. They say that a daughter who is married off is like water that has been poured out, and cannot be taken back. I splashed it once before, and now I am in a hurry to splash it again. For a moment, Chen Shuejia felt that she had no place to stay. She stroked her belly and murmured, baby, no matter how hard it is, we have to be strong, right? If you are a boy, you will protect your mother. If you are a girl, your mother will protect you. We can do it ourselves, right? Chapter 9, The Pillow Sent by the Sleepyhead. The next day, Chen Shuejia took half a day off and came to Hongyuan Financial Management with her divorce certificate and 6,000 yuan. Hongyuan Financial Management is Fang Daming's family company. As for the 6,000 yuan, 3,000 came from Lin's mother, and the other 3,000 was the salary from Chen Shuejia. The 2 days I mentioned before was an exaggeration. The salary was paid last night. I kept 500 for myself and used the rest to pay off my debts. Although Lin Rui had written a statement before, saying that all the debts had nothing to do with Chen Shuejia still couldn't get over it. After the money was paid off, she felt that she had truly broken off with Lin Rui. Enter Hongyuan Financial Management. The front desk clerk was quite familiar with Chen Shuejia and felt very sympathetic towards her, so naturally, she was very disgusted with Lin Rui. Sister Chen, are you getting paid again this time? Chen Shuejia nodded awkwardly and said, I'm going to pay back 6,000 this time. Can you please help me call the person in charge? Sister Chen, what do you want the person in charge to do? Asked the receptionist. Chen Shuejia was even more embarrassed and said, I'm divorced and want to redistribute the debt. I'll pay back part of it. I brought the divorce certificate with me. Can you help me ask? When the receptionist heard this, she felt pity and resentment, and said, Sister Chen, they are divorced, why are you still helping him pay the money? He should pay it back himself. Take the money away quickly, and I'll pretend you've never been here. Chen Shuejia shook her head, handed the envelope containing the money to the front desk, and was unwilling to say anything more. Sister Chen, to be honest, if I were a man and married a wife like you, I would hold you in the palm of my hand. You say? The receptionist sighed, feeling sorry for Chen Shuejiao and couldn't bear to take the envelope that was handed to her. Chen Shuejiao smiled bitterly. Nothing said. Seeing Chen Shuejiao like this, the receptionist didn't know what to say and said, "The general manager is sick and not here. The deputy general manager is also in the hospital. Let me call the director for you." A little bit. A middle-aged man walked over. To be honest, he was really upset about this bill. Although the money he lent out was not his, it was still a hassle to have people asking him to pay back the money every month. Chen Shuejiao expressed her request. The director frowned and listened, then said, "You know, this debt is taken care of by the boss, and it's enough to take care of you. Now you want to split the repayment, which is not in compliance with the regulations. How about this, when the boss or their vice president comes back, I will ask for you. You go back and wait for the letter. I'll have someone notify you when there is a result." Chen Shuejiao doesn't understand this aspect. "I originally thought that the 200,000 yuan could be divided into two halves and the divorce certificate could be obtained." Hearing this, feeling the impatience and perfunctory attitude of the person in front of him, he said, "Then thank you for asking for me. I will wait for your news." R. The director waved his hand, took the envelope containing the money and left. Speaking of which, Fang Daming really didn't explain. His father was in the hospital and he hadn't come to the company. Otherwise, if Chen Shuejiao came to pay back the money, I would definitely not accept it. No matter what, he agreed to Lin Rui. Things did not go as expected, so Chen Shuejiao returned to the company. Chen Shuejiao works for an advertising company called Hengtong, which was established only 3 years ago. She originally worked in finance, which is what she studied in college, but she switched to sales this month. She proposed it herself because when she was working in finance, she knew how much money she could make if she was good at sales. In order to pay off the debt and for the baby, she needs money. Fortunately, she had just transferred to the sales department and during this period, she actually found a potential customer. Learn to make plans, learn to negotiate. There is not much time for her to waste. On the other side, Lin Rui received a text message. The 80,000 yuan from the scratch-off lottery ticket has arrived. It's a total of 80,000 yuan, not a penny more in the balance. I took out 51,000 yuan and rushed to Huarong Street. I found the store and when I entered, there were other people in the store. This is a young man with ordinary looks but expensive clothes. The lady boss is entertaining. I will definitely keep an eye out for you, Boss Zheng, but Boss Zheng, do you want bronze or porcelain, or calligraphy and paintings? You have to give me some direction. Anything is fine, a few 100,000 or so, that's the price I want. As long as it's authenticated as a genuine item, I'll pay immediately, and your commission will also be included. Lin Rui didn't know what they had talked about before or whether they were familiar with each other. But he knew that this person might be the pillow sent to him when he was sleepy. The young man said nothing more and turned to leave. The female boss wanted to see him off, but when she turned around she saw Lin Rui. Ouch. This is to give money. Well, Boss Zheng, I still have customers here, so I won't give more. If I really find something good, I will contact you as soon as possible, said the female boss. The young man left. When they passed by each other, Lin Rui took a closer look. Brother, you're here, the female boss said to Lin Rui enthusiastically. Lin Rui didn't waste any words, and directly took out the 50,000 in the black bag and said, Sister, is the stuff still there? Yes, yes. When the female boss saw the money, her eyes lit up. She quickly went inside the counter and took out the jade pendant from underneath. She said, Brother, I haven't touched it since you left yesterday. It's the same today as it was yesterday. Please check it. This can't be taken lightly. Lin Rui took it out and tested it, and found that there was indeed no problem. Sister, here is the money, please count it. Lin Rui said. Pooh. The female boss spat on her fingers and started ordering. A bit gross, but fast enough. Brother, one is not bad. The female boss said with a smile. Okay, sister, that's it. Lin Rui hurried out holding the jade pendant. Brother, come again, the woman shouted from behind, but she really couldn't keep up with Lin Rui's pace. After leaving the store, Lin Rui looked around. In the crowd, I was looking for the figure of that person. Not far away, I saw it on the east side of the street. Lin Rui walked over and said with a smile, Mr. Zheng, right? The young man looked her up and down and asked, do you know her? I don't know him. Lin Rui said with a smile, I have a jade pendant in my hand, which was passed down by the older generation. It is a flowing pattern pendant from the Qing dynasty. I originally wanted to come and see if there was a store that would buy it. If I couldn't get a good price, I would go to the auction house. I was in the store just now and heard that Mr. Zheng wanted to buy an old item, so I took the liberty to come over and ask. Flow pattern pendant. What? He really didn't know. He looked in the direction of the store and then glanced at the black bag in Lin Rui's hand. He really didn't notice whether the person who entered the same store with him was holding anything in his hand. How much do you want? The young man asked. Hearing this, Lin Rui smiled in his heart. He asked the price without looking at the item. This was the first time he saw someone buying something this way. He said, this flow pattern pendant should be able to sell for 1 million at the auction house. After deducting the 10% commission and miscellaneous fees such as appraisal, the net amount is about 900,000. In addition, it will take about a week to half a month for the auction house to pay the money after the auction. At the auction cycle, and it may be about a month. I need some money urgently, otherwise I won't sell it. Well, if you want, I can sell it to you for 850,000. We can take the items to the authentication center right now, and then trade them after they are authenticated as genuine items. I heard from the older generation in my family that this jade pendant has a story behind it, but I don't know the details. I think the experts at the appraisal center should know that this kind of thing with historical heritage is a good choice whether you collect it yourself or give it to others. Talking. Lin Rui also opened the box inside the bag and revealed the jade pendant. The young man looked down. Not bad. If this was a real thing, it would really be what he wanted. What's more, if you go to the appraisal center, you can get the appraisal first and then discuss the transaction, which is also guaranteed. Okay, if this is real, and the price given by the expert is about the same as what you want, then I'll take this jade pendant. The young man said, are you driving? If you want to drive, just follow my car and I'll take you to a place. If we can make a deal, I'll give you the money directly. Lin Rui smiled and said, if you don't mind, I'll take your car. Chapter 10 Jing Hongjun. 20 minutes later. The car stopped in front of the Collectibles Appraisal Association. Lin Rui thought that he would be taken to find someone familiar who knew the subject, or an old scholar, but he didn't expect to come to an association with the Chinese character in its name. You don't mind coming here, do you? Lin Rui chuckled and said, very good. This was one of the few exchanges between the two since they got in the car. We were not familiar with each other, and we just met by chance. How much could we talk about with a jade pendant as the connection? What's more, he was a man who only looked at the price and was not an expert. We couldn't even talk about the item. But Lin Rui also understood what he meant. In this kind of place, if you bring fake goods, they will probably be smashed on the spot after being identified. Looking at Lin Rui's attitude, the young man gained some more confidence in the jade pendant. Speaking of which, although they didn't communicate much, she had a good impression of Lin Rui. At least she got into his car without saying a word, and she wasn't worried about what he might do to steal the jade pendant. I got off the car and went inside. After stating the purpose of the visit, I was led into an office with a sign that said, appraisal. There were 2 men in their 50s wearing glasses and an even older man with a woolly beard. This temperament also seems to be that of an expert. The young man was at the back and didn't say anything. His meaning was very clear. He wanted Lin Rui to be the speaker to show that he was not using any connections to deliberately lower the price. Lin Rui walked forward with a smile, stated his purpose, and politely placed the jade pendant on the table, saying, this is an item left by my elders. I'm a little unsure, so I came to appraise it. The 3 of them didn't say much. Some of them put on gloves and held magnifying glasses and gathered together to start studying. Look left, look right, look over and over again. Everyone has passed through. The 3 of them exchanged glances and confirmed it. The old man with the woolly beard put down the reading glasses stuck on his nose, then looked up at Lin Rui and said, did the elders in your family tell you what this thing is? Qing Dynasty, Liu Wen pendant. Lin Rui said. The old man with a woolly beard nodded and said, yes, this is indeed the flow pattern pendant, an object that came from the palace. According to records, this thing is slowly and leisurely told the origin of this jade pendant. In short, this thing has something to do with the person wearing the yellow robe, or has been worn before. When the young man surnamed Jing heard this, his eyes suddenly lit up. It has something to do with the person wearing the yellow robe. No matter what it was like in the late Qing dynasty, it is all touched by the imperial aura. This thing is very stylish. It has a good origin, very good, and very satisfying. He glanced at Lin Rui. Lin Rui thought this man was really good. He didn't play any tricks at all. He also understood what he meant. He said to the old man, "Master, if this is sold, what is the price it would be worth?" The old man glanced at Lin Rui and said, "In our opinion, the historical and cultural significance contained in the objects is the most valuable. If you really want a price, this jade pendant will cost no less than 700,000 yuan. If you meet someone you like, the price will be even higher, possibly even over 1 million yuan. Needless to say. That's enough. Here you can find the identification procedures." Lin Rui didn't have to pay for the appraisal fee and the handling fee. The man surnamed Jing paid directly. During the handling of the formalities, the two signed a simple transaction agreement and compared their ID cards. When signing the contract, Lin Rui knew that the man was Jing Hongjun, 1 year younger than him. Jing Hongjun. Lin Rui felt that this name sounded familiar. But for a moment, I really didn't think about it too much. Lin Rui never handled the jade pendant again. The two of them then went to the bank. 850,000 is a lot of money, so of course they couldn't do it in cash. So they had to wire it today and it would arrive tomorrow. Everything is done. After leaving the bank, Jing Hongjun took the initiative to extend his hand and said, "I like this item very much." "Thank you very much." Lin Rui smiled and shook his hand, saying, "Mr. Zheng is also very straightforward. This is a very happy transaction." Har har har. Jing Hongjun smiled and said, "I can only say that we are destined to be together. I am destined to be with this object, and Mr. Lin is also straightforward and is indeed a trustworthy person. No more small talk." Jing Hongjun left with satisfaction. Lin Rui was even more satisfied. He originally thought that it would take at least half a month to sell the jade pendant at the auction house. Now he got the jade pendant on the same day and sold it on the same day. Moreover, the 850,000 yuan he asked for was also worth it. After all, it was hard to say whether it could be sold at the auction house for 1 million yuan like before. If it was lower than 950,000 yuan, after deducting various expenses, it would be a loss compared to the 850,000 yuan he sold it to Jing Hongjun. It was purchased for 50,000 and sold for 850,000. Receive 800,000 yuan. What I am not very satisfied with is that the money will arrive tomorrow. If it arrived today, I could increase the stakes in football betting. However, everything has two sides. Increasing the stakes also means greater risk. After all, to be honest, this betting is not very formal, the payout is too large, and the possibility of defaulting on debts cannot be ruled out. This situation has not happened before. This bank is not far from Chen Shuejia's company, and you can vaguely see the tall building. Lin Rui really wants to meet Chen Shuejia. Restraining the impulse in his heart, Lin Rui turned in another direction and took a taxi to the stock exchange. In the huge hall, the most eye-catching thing is the large LED screen with various stocks in red and green. There are quite a lot of people here at this time, some standing, some sitting, some surprised, some melancholy, but all they have in common is their eyes on the market. Although we have the internet now, it is definitely not comparable to what will happen in the future. Nowadays, when trading stocks, most people still watch the stock market channel at home, and then come to the trading hall to trade by phone, or go to the exchange counter or trading machine. As far as Lin Rui knows, in 5 days, Huadong Pharmaceutical will release a piece of news that after 8 years of intensive research, it has achieved remarkable results in the treatment of amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, commonly known as ALS. The new drug, sequondabine sanguifen, has undergone clinical trials, and the cure rate has increased by 35%, and the reliability of inhibiting the development of ALS can reach 85%. Directly attracted the attention of people from all walks of life. The result of the attention was a surge in the share price of Huadong Medicine. In just 3 days, the price increased by 45%, and then remained stable for a long time. This is the purpose of Lin Rui coming to the exchange. Within 5 days, he would first look for opportunities to buy at the bottom, and then wait for a sharp rise in prices before selling off? Certainly. The money in his pocket now is not enough, and most of his money is still on the way. I came here today to open an account and to take a look at the past and current trends of Huadong medicine and make some analysis. On the other side, Fang Daming's father has completed the surgery. The operation was successful and the patient woke up, but the anesthetic effect had not completely worn off and he was still dizzy. Mother is cooking. I haven't been to the company for 2 or 3 days, so Fang Daming also came to take a look. After entering the company and sitting in the office, Fang Daming called the director over and asked, "Is there anything going on in the company these days?" "No, everything is fine." After the director responded, he also talked about the specific situation of the company in the past 2 days. Then he remembered something and said, "By the way, Mr. Fang, Lin Rui's wife came today and returned 6,000 yuan. She also said that they were divorced and wanted to propose to split the money. I didn't agree, but I didn't completely refuse. I said I'll wait for you, Mr. Fang, to come back and make a decision, and then give her a reply. I think we should just take over their house. They are clearly trying to trick us by doing this. Once the money is divided, the person responsible will change. And if the amount does not exceed the money, there is no reason for us to take over the house. Mr. Fang, I know you and Lin Rui are classmates, but you can't be merciful in this matter. This kind of person is just." Before he finished speaking, Fang Daming said coldly, "Shut up." The director was stunned. What happened? Fang Daming was so angry. He had just promised Lin Rui, but someone else's wife came to give him money, and his company's people actually accepted it. This was a slap in his face and made him appear unkind and unjust. But I really can't blame the people below, I forgot to explain it myself. He frowned, then calmed down and said, "Give me the money and the contract. I don't need to ask for the money anymore. I can just transfer the money directly." The director hesitated and said, "Mr. Fang, you don't want the money? Mr. Fang, do you agree?" Hearing this, Fang Daming glared and said, "Why, what I said doesn't work, right?" The director realized that he had said too much and said, "Mr. Fang, that's not what I meant. I'll go get it right away." The director left. Fang Daming rubbed his fingers. What kind of thing is this? A little bit. After receiving the money and the contract, Fang Daming hesitated for a moment and wanted to call Lin Rui to explain the matter. However, as soon as he picked up the phone, he paused again. This matter can't be explained clearly over the phone, so let's explain it in person. Thinking about it, he dialed the phone and said, "Brother Lin, are you busy? If not, let's meet. I have something to tell you." Chapter 11. The order was pride. In the exchange, Lin Rui looked at the market. At a certain moment, Fang Daming walked in, looked around the hall, and saw Lin Rui's figure in one place. To be honest, Fang Daming felt that Lin Rui was on the edge of several cliffs. He was either playing the lottery or betting on football. Now he was eyeing stocks. These are really the types of customers that his company is most afraid of when lending money, and Lin Rui has basically conquered them all. Any good person will be ruined if he is treated like this, not to mention that he was not that good to begin with. "Brother Lin, are you going to deal with stocks again?" Fang Daming came closer and asked when he saw Lin Rui's eyes fixed on the stock market. "Well, there is a market that is okay." Lin Rui responded casually, retracted his gaze from the stock board, turned his head to look at him, and said, "What do you want to talk to me about? Is there a problem with the football betting?" Lin Rui had asked before, but Fang Daming said he wanted to talk about it in person. It's so mysterious. "No, before I hung up the phone, I had someone place the bet," Fang Daming said. "How much did you bet?" Lin Rui asked. Fang Daming said awkwardly, "I don't have much money on hand, about the same as what you bet, Brother Lin." Looking at his expression, Lin Rui also knew what was going on. "This is because you don't believe in yourself at all. I didn't dwell on this topic. As for football betting, all I had to do was place a bet. As for whether Fang Daming would place a bet or not, as I said before, that was his own business." I said calmly, "Tell me what you want from me." Fang Daming hesitated for a moment, took out the folded contract and an envelope of money from his handbag, and said, "Brother Lin, this is your loan contract from my company. I brought it to you. The company doesn't have a stub. As I said before, this loan is over. The money in this envelope was sent by my sister-in-law today. There are 6,000 in total. It's all here. Brother Lin, you know that my father has been in the hospital. I haven't been to the company these 2 days. This matter is also my fault. I didn't explain it well to the people below, so they took the money. 6,000. Lin Rui was slightly startled. He knew how much Chen Xuejia's monthly salary was, so how could it be so much? Then he remembered the phone call with Chen Xuejia, who said his mother would transfer 3,000 yuan to him. The money was finally transferred, and Chen Xuejia, that silly woman, actually used it all to pay off his debts. For a moment, Lin Rui couldn't tell whether he felt warm or distressed. I can only say that I owe it to my parents and to Chen Xuejia. It's indeed quite complicated. Lin Rui also understood what Fang Daming meant. He felt that he had not done what he promised him, and he was afraid that he could not explain it clearly over the phone, so he made this special trip. Do you treat me as a friend? Lin Rui asked. Fang Daming was stunned for a moment, and said, What are you talking about? Of course I treat you as a friend. No matter whether you were down and out before or won the lottery, I think I have done enough. I also treat you as a friend. There are some things I have been holding back in my heart, and I want to say a few words to you. I know you're anxious to make money. It's true that some money comes quickly, but the odds are slim. Not everyone can play it right. The finals are about to start tonight. Do you know what the odds are? The bets are almost one-sided, but you made a losing bet. To put it bluntly, aren't you courting death? Take my advice and withdraw your bets. It's not too late. Don't touch this stock. It's not something you can handle. These are all nice things I said. I don't bother to say them to others. I just treat you as a friend and want to see you do the best. Lin Rui knew that this was a nice thing to say, but he frowned slightly, stared at Fang Daming and asked, Did you place a bet for me? Get off. Fang Daming exhaled lightly and said, I won't hide it from you. I bet a total of 100,000, 80,000 of which is yours and 20,000 of which is mine. The reason why I am willing to bet is that I want to wake you up through this incident. I want you to find something serious to do and stop dreaming about getting rich all day long. It's not realistic at all. Well, if you just stop doing these things and come to my company, I'll give you a base salary of 3,000 yuan, plus extra commissions. After all, it's still a job, much better than just muddling through like this. Lin Rui smiled faintly and said, It seems that you are destined to regret it. Regret? Fang Daming reacted and said, Lin Rui, whether it's our former classmates or the fact that you saved my dad, I really want to help you, but why are you so stubborn? Lin Rui smiled, took the contract and envelope from Fang Daming, and said, Trust me, invest more, it's not too late now, otherwise you will definitely regret it. Then he stood up and said, I have something else to do, so I'll leave first. There is no point in talking more. Fang Daming obviously doesn't trust me, so what else can I say? Should I listen to his lecture? Based on what he knows in his mind, I can regard him as my ancestor. I regret what the hell I regret. Fang Daming was really angry and said, You are such a stubborn ass, no wonder your wife divorced you, you. Not finished yet. He felt Lin Rui's cold gaze, and the rest of the words were stuck in his throat. Lin Rui asked coldly, How did you know? Fang Daming glanced at him and said, Your wife came to the company with a divorce certificate. She wants to split the debt and put part of it in her name. Hearing this, Lin Rui felt a pain in his heart again. How many families, let alone debts, have fought to the death over a little property when dividing the family? But what about Chen Xuejia? She clearly wrote a statement to her, saying that the debt had nothing to do with her, but she still paid him back and took on the debt. This silly woman. Fang Daming looked at Lin Rui and said, You've lost such a good woman, and you're still not awake. Do you have to kill yourself before you wake up? I won't lose him, never. Lin Rui said. Fang Daming stood up, smiled sarcastically, and said, You are a grown man, so stop talking nonsense. You didn't want to lose, but you lost anyway. Listen to others' advice and eat your fill. I tell you clearly that you will lose the bet you placed on tonight's game. If you don't listen, I won't stop you, but I hope that after losing the money, you can sober up. If you saved my dad, I will not ignore you and at least give you something to eat. When you figure it out, give me a call. After saying that, Fang Daming left first. Lin Rui didn't care about Fang Daming's words. No matter what, they were all good words. Seeing that there was still time, Lin Rui planned to go to Chen Shuejia's company. Now that he had the loan contract in hand, he didn't want Chen Shuejia to worry about the loan anymore. This way, she would be able to relax a lot. I bought some premium fruits on the way that are beneficial to pregnant women. Carrying a few bags, he went to the office building where Chen Shuejia was. At this time, Chen Shuejia had just prepared a proposal for the client and made a phone call to make an appointment for a meeting with the contact person. However, the other party told her that the advertising cooperation had been connected with her leader, Manager Wu, and the relevant plan had been negotiated and might be signed soon. The specific matters were also decided by the leader, and he was not very clear. How could that be? Chen Shuejia hung up the phone in a daze, mainly because she had no idea about this matter. Was his own client poached by Manager Wu? The other party's attitude was very clear. They would no longer discuss this cooperation with me, but with Manager Wu, so the contract would have nothing to do with me. Chen Shuejia felt aggrieved. But it may not be what I thought. No matter what, I have to ask Manager Wu for clarification. After knocking on the office door, a middle-aged man who looked a bit fat and wretched sat down on the chair. After getting a response, Chen Shuejia stepped in. When Manager Wu saw Chen Shuejia, his eyes lit up and he asked, "Xiao Chen, what's the matter?" "Manager Wu, you are in touch with my client, Xingtang Wine Industry, for advertising cooperation, right?" Chen Shuejia said in a low voice. She was angry, so her tone was naturally a little stiff. Manager Wu smiled, then his face darkened slightly, and he said, "Yes, you have been taking leave frequently these days, and you have delayed the development of customers. Don't you know that Xingtang Wine Industry has a lot of advertising cooperation? There are more than one advertising company, and the competition is very fierce. If we delay for one day, it will give our competitors one day's opportunity. They may reach a cooperation at any time, causing us to lose this order. As an employee of the company, you are so irresponsible, and you are still questioning me now. Then I ask you, who is responsible for the loss of customers? You. Although you are a veteran employee of the company, you are new to the sales department and lack experience. You can't handle such a large order. I will not hold you responsible this time. This order has nothing to do with you. Just consider it as an experience." Chapter 12. Please be respectful. Faced with Manager Wu's strong attitude, Chen Shuejia was a little confused. But more of it is grievance. Xingtang Winery was the first client she developed after arriving at the sales department. She felt that she was very lucky and cherished the opportunity very much. She did every detail carefully and put in a lot of effort for it. When it came time to provide a proposal and start discussing specific cooperation, Manager Wu just said one sentence and it had nothing to do with her. "Manager Wu, no matter what, Xingtang Winery is a client developed by me, and I asked for leave from you before. I can learn from my lack of experience, but this client is mine and must be mine." Chen Shuejia's voice became more assertive. "Don't get so excited. Actually, you have been working in the company for such a long time, and I have always noticed you. I am very optimistic about your work ability, otherwise I would not have let you join the sales department that I manage." Manager Wu stood up and motioned for Chen Shuejia to sit down on the sofa next to him, then turned around to pour Chen Shuejia a glass of water. He has indeed been paying attention to Chen Shuejia for a long time. Everyone in the company knows this beautiful finance lady, and they have been envious of her for a long time. Now she has come to the sales department that they manage. Isn't that a chance for them? To put it bluntly, he was waiting for Chen Shuejia to come find him. As he spoke, he poured some water, took the cup to the sofa, and continued, "It's you, you're too stubborn sometimes. I'm doing this for your own good. This order from Xingtang Wine is not small, and our boss is paying attention to it. If you lose it, tell me, how are you going to explain it to the company? I know you transferred to the sales department to make more money. If the order from Xingtang Wine Industry is signed, it will not be a problem to give you a commission. In addition, I have existing customers on hand, and it will be easy for me to transfer them to you and let you place an order. Sales is all about orders and commissions. With my help, I guarantee that everything will go smoothly for you. You don't even need to do anything to get the commission." As he spoke, Manager Wu had already sat down and sat next to Chen Shuejia. This made Chen Shuejia very uncomfortable, and she moved to the side. However, after hearing what Manager Wu said, her expression warmed up a little, and she said, "Manager Wu, I know I don't have enough experience, but I can learn. Xingtang Winery is a very important customer to me." Maybe I misunderstood Manager Wu. I am very grateful to Manager Wu for helping with the negotiation, but I hope that this cooperation will be more about me and. Manager Wu smiled and said, "That's not a problem. I can fully cooperate with you. I can also introduce you to several big clients one after another. Once you have a certain performance, it will be very easy to promote you to a supervisor. As a woman, why do you have to be so stubborn? You can live a comfortable life if you just obey." Manager Wu's eyes were always on Chen Shuejiao, moving up and down. His upper body had already leaned towards Chen Shuejiao, and his palm was even about to press on Chen Shuejiao's leg. Sensing Manager Wu's intention, Chen Shuejiao realized something was wrong and quickly stood up and said, "Manager Wu, please be more respectful." Manager Wu chuckled, clapped his hand in the air on his leg, looked at Chen Shuejiao who stood up, and seeing that she was so tactless, he sneered again and said, "How respectful are you? Everyone in the company knows that you owe money outside, and you have received many debt collection calls. In order to pay back the money, you have been played with by others a few times. I like you very much and want to take care of you. Let me play with you a few times, and I will let you earn a lot of commissions. Everyone will be happy. Otherwise, get out of the company. Without income, how can you pay back the money? Otherwise, you will just lie there and let others play with you. It doesn't matter who plays with you. You have to think more positively. You. Chen Shuejia's face turned pale with anger. She never thought that Manager Wu could say such nasty words. This was simply the biggest insult to her personality. "I'm going to find the boss and tell him what kind of person you are. People like you are not worthy of being a manager. Go ahead, let's see if the boss believes you or me." Manager Wu looked fearless, and instead acted like a scoundrel. "I am the one who drives the performance of this company, and I support the boss, so who do you think you are? If you know what's good for you, just obey me. Otherwise, I'll ask you to get out of the company immediately." Chen Shuejiao was furious when she heard this and said, "If the boss chooses to indulge you, then you might as well quit this company." After saying that, Chen Shuejiao opened the office door. It is impossible to say that Manager Wu was not panicking at all. He quickly stood up and tried to pull Chen Shuejiao away. He said in a low voice with a gloomy face, "You stinky bitch, you don't want to give me face, do you? Let go, let go." Meanwhile, "Hello, can you please find Chen Shuejiao?" Lin Rui appeared at the front desk of Hengtong Advertising Company. However, before the front desk staff could reply, Lin Rui heard a quarrel coming from inside the company. The moment he heard their voice, Lin Rui's face suddenly darkened. Because he recognized that this was Chen Shuejia's voice. The noise was indeed quite loud, and many people in the company either stood up or turned to look over here. In the eyes of the crowd, a figure was seen rushing towards the direction of the sound. Lin Rui followed the sound and saw a bloated middle-aged man holding Chen Shuejia's arm with a vicious look on his face. Chen Shuejia struggled desperately with a look of fear, anger and grievance. Any man who sees his wife being bullied will absolutely not be able to suppress the anger in his heart that is like a volcanic eruption. Lin Rui felt as if a bomb had been dropped on his head. He rushed forward in one step, grabbed Manager Wu's wrist, and twisted it violently, twisting his arm holding Chen Shuejia into a knot. Before Manager Wu could feel the pain, Lin Rui punched hard. Bang! The force was quite strong. Manager Wu was a stout man with a heavy weight, but he was knocked over by Lin Rui's punch. With a bang, he fell directly to the ground. "Are you okay? Are you injured anywhere?" Lin Rui held Chen Shuejia's shoulders and looked at her with concern. This was his sweetheart. How could he bear to see someone touching his wife? Fortunately, Chen Shuejia was not injured. If she was beaten, he would have wanted to cut the person on the ground into pieces. Lin Rui? Chen Shuejia felt dizzy at the moment. Why is he here? I don't know if I'm dreaming or hallucinating. Lin Rui has never come to the company since his first day at work. Why did he come today, and so timely? She felt relieved by this punch, but after being relieved, she became worried again. This is hitting someone. You dare to hit me? Manager Wu was quite resistant to the blow. He didn't fall to the ground after being hit by the electric shock. Instead, he stood up with the help of the wall, pointed at Lin Rui, and said angrily, "Don't leave, I'm going to call the police." "Just wait." The boss was in the office inside. Hearing the commotion outside, he came out of the office and said, "What are you arguing about? This is the company, don't treat it like your home." Chapter 13. Are you teaching me a lesson? Call the police here, boss, come out here. Mr. Zheng. Chen Shuajiao didn't have time to say anything to Lin Rui and hurried over to explain. However, Manager Wu rushed over to her and shouted, "Boss Zheng, this Chen Shuajiao is absent from work without reason. She doesn't come when she says she won't come. She doesn't take her job seriously at all. The advertising cooperation of Xingtang wine industry was delayed by her. I said a few words to her, and she brought people to the company to make trouble and even hit me. Look how she hit me." Seeing him confuse right and wrong, Chen Shuajiao hurriedly said, "Boss Zheng, that's not the case. I've asked for leave these 2 days and have reported it. In addition, I developed the advertisement for Xingtang wine industry and I have been following it. But Manager Wu did not get my consent at all and communicated with my clients without authorization. He also directly excluded me from the cooperation negotiation. He used his position to bully and slander me. He is a scumbag and is not worthy of being the leader of the department. If she reports to General Zheng alone, she will tell the truth without reservation. But with so many people watching, how could she say anything? Should she say that Manager Wu was being unkind to her? Mr. Zheng, she framed me. Xingtang Liquor has a lot of advertising space, and it's a critical time. How could I approve leave for her? She said she wouldn't come, so she didn't come. In order to prevent the company from losing this order, I naturally had to take the initiative to go. But she didn't appreciate it. She also said that since I went with her, I must help her get the order. She also seduced me in the office. How could I allow such corrupt behavior? Naturally, she had to fire me. As a result, she said that I refused to accept her toast and called someone to beat me. Manager Wu said, "You're talking nonsense." Chen Shuajiao was very angry. This is a blatant slander against her. Not only is he trying to steal her clients and say such things, but he is now also distorting the truth. How can this person be so disgusting? Okay, stop arguing. President Jing frowned deeply. "No matter what, you shouldn't hit anyone. I was the one who beat him up." Suddenly, a familiar voice came into his ears. President Jing turned around and when he saw Lin Rui clearly, he was slightly startled and asked, "Mr. Lin, why are you here?" This person is none other than Jing Hongjun. Speaking of which, Lin Rui was also surprised. No wonder he felt a little familiar when he saw this name before. He didn't expect that he was the boss of his wife's company. Lin Rui didn't know much about Hengtong Advertising Company, except that it was the company where his wife Chen Shuajiao worked, and there was a piece of news that year. Not long after Chen Shuajiao jumped off the building, something went wrong at Hengtong Advertising Company. It was because Xingtang Liquor was reported to have adulterated its liquor that Hengtong Advertising, which helped them with advertising, was to blame and was sentenced to joint liability. Not only did it have to suspend business for half a year, but it also had to pay millions in compensation. This is the company where my wife works. I didn't expect that Mr. Zheng is the boss of this company. Lin Rui took the initiative to extend his hand. Zheng Hongjun and Lin Rui shook hands, and at the same time glanced at Chen Shuajiao. Chen Shuajiao is an old employee of the company. He has heard a little about Chen Shuajiao's family. It was all gossip among colleagues. So it makes sense why Lin Rui sold the jade pendant. He was selling it to pay off his debts. Chen Shuajiao was a little confused at this moment. She didn't know how Lin Rui knew her boss. Manager Wu was even more confused, and hurriedly said, "Since you know Mr. Zheng, I won't bother with you. But given your bad behavior, I definitely won't dare to keep an employee like Chen Shuajiao. Xingtang Winery is no longer a customer of yours. Pack up your things and leave." He was trying to save face. This person knew his boss, so he definitely couldn't call the police. The most he could do was apologize and let the matter go. Zheng Hongjun might not have believed what he had said to Chen Shuajiao before, but since they knew each other, it was hard to say. So he had to make a decisive decision and kick Chen Shuajiao out of the company immediately. I have to say, this little trick is quite clever, and he knows how to get out of the situation. Not only does he solve the problem, but he also wins the favor of Zheng Hongjun. Lin Rui ignored Manager Wu and looked at Zheng Hongjun, saying, "Boss Zheng, what do you think about this? Zheng Hongjun glanced at Manager Wu and said, Mr. Lin, it's just a small misunderstanding. We can talk it out. If your wife is willing to stay, then she can stay. As for the order from Xingtang Wine Industry, let Manager Wu take charge of it for the time being. You are really perfunctory enough. Lin Rui heard this without any politeness and said, My wife has worked in this company for a long time. She is an old employee of your company. As the boss, you may not know everything, but do you think it is possible that this person said that my wife seduced him? It is so indiscriminate. Even if your subordinates do whatever they want, it is no wonder that your company will not last long. It is normal for something to happen. Hearing this, Zheng Hongjuan's face suddenly darkened. To be honest, because of the jade pendant incident, I had a good impression of Lin Rui, but what was he doing now? Cursing himself? Cursing his own company? You better watch your words. Lin Rui looked at Zheng Hongjun and said, Have you ever asked about the reason for this matter? If you keep such a person with bad intentions, you will suffer a great loss sooner or later. Zheng Hongjuan's face turned cold again. He stared at Lin Rui and said, Are you teaching me a lesson? I'm not teaching you a lesson, I'm saving you. Lin Rui said, The wine industry is always treacherous. You have no idea how big a trap this person will dig for you. What do? Manager Wu had an angry look on his face. Seeing that Lin Rui's relationship with his boss was not what he imagined, he pointed at Lin Rui and said, You are just unhappy because your wife lost the order when the cooperation is about to be signed. You'd better be careful with your words. I'm going to sue you for defamation. Even if I gave this order to my wife, I would not agree to it. Lin Rui completely ignored Manager Wu and continued to look at Zheng Hongjun, saying, Why did he try so hard to snatch the order from my wife, and why did he want to drive my wife out of the company? You'd better investigate it clearly before cooperating with us, and test their wine and drinks, so that your people don't dig a trap and fall into it without knowing it. Drinks testing? Zheng Hongjuan's brows suddenly frowned. Does this mean that Xingtang Liquor's liquor is fake? Xingtang Liquor is a well-known local enterprise. You are kidding me by saying that the liquor produced by Xingtang Liquor is fake. Chen Shuajia was also startled and said quickly, I'm sorry, Mr. Zhang, he doesn't understand this industry and just said it casually, please don't mind it. Zheng Hongjun was irritated by Lin Rui's words. The cooperation with Xingtang wine industry was not small. It could be said that it was one of the few large orders since the establishment of the company. Naturally, he could not tolerate any bad words, not to mention that Lin Rui's tone was like a lecture. By the way, who are you with? His eyes narrowed immediately, and he said solemnly, This is a company, not your home. You must be responsible for any words you say, do you understand? Whether what I said is true or not, you can find out naturally if you ask someone to test the wine for identification. Lin Rui looked at Zheng Hongjun and said, I was wrong. I will bear the losses of your company. On the other hand, there is no need to explain whether your company's manager is doing something fishy. President Jing must give my wife a reasonable explanation. Who are you saying is up to something? Manager Wu became even angrier. Lin Rui's words seemed to be directed at Zheng Hongjun, but they were all directed at him. He pointed at Lin Rui and said, I now solemnly request that you apologize to me immediately. Lin Rui was about to say something. Chen Shuajia pulled him and said, Can you stop talking? Lin Rui stepped forward at the critical moment, which made her feel warm and touched, but what is he doing now? In front of the entire company, he said that Xingtang Wine's liquor was fake. To put it bluntly, this is enough to file a lawsuit for defamation. Besides, it was originally a very reasonable thing to do, but now that Lin Rui did this, it has become completely unreasonable. Not wanting to make the situation worse, he quickly apologized to Zheng Hongjun and pulled Lin Rui away. Wait a moment. Zheng Hongjun came over, looked at Lin Rui and said, My company is open for business, but you can't just come and go as you please. You made such a scene in my company, and you want to just leave. You want to make a bet, right? If so, I'll make this bet with you. I won't make it difficult for you. If you lose, I don't ask you to compensate me. Just apologize in front of everyone in the company. If I lose, I will do what you want. At this time, Manager Wu pointed at Lin Rui's nose and said to Zheng Hongjun, Boss Zheng, he punched me. I didn't want to bother with him, but he provoked me repeatedly. Just apologizing is too easy for him. Then he turned to look at Lin Rui and said, if you lose, I want you to kneel down and apologize to me. What if you lose? Lin Rui narrowed his eyes slightly. You don't need to apologize to me, but you have to kneel in front of my wife in front of everyone in the company and slap yourself 10 times. Don't even mention 10, I dare to take 100. Manager Wu said viciously, just wait until you kneel down. Chapter 14, Not Following, Not Licking, Are You Stupid? Chen Shuajia was extremely anxious. She felt that Lin Rui was really too impulsive. Just when she was about to say something, Jing Hongjun waved his hand to stop her, indicating that the matter was settled. Jing Hongjun did not return to the office, but walked directly outside the company. But before leaving, everyone heard him give an order: send someone to buy back all the wines on sale at Xingtang Winery for identification. Manager Wu pointed at Lin Rui and said, don't even think about running away. You'd better show up here tomorrow morning, or I'll sue you. But the next moment, faced with Lin Rui's cold gaze, he turned around and hid in his office. Chen Shuajia didn't expect things to develop to this point, and she stamped her feet anxiously. However, after such a scene, she definitely couldn't stay in the company, and she couldn't let Lin Rui continue to stay in the company. If he hits people again, the matter will be even bigger. He quickly dragged Lin Rui out of the company and the building, looked at him angrily with red eyes, and said, what do you want to do? Do you think it's not difficult or embarrassing enough for me? Do you know that if you do this, I will never be able to return to the company? If I don't do this, can I just watch you get bullied? Lin Rui said. He knew Chen Shuajia, knew that she didn't want to leave the advertising company, and also knew how much she valued this job. So if she stayed, that bastard would have to be dealt with. Besides, would a punch be enough to touch his wife? No way. Lin Rui exhaled lightly, suppressed his anger towards Manager Wu, and said softly to Chen Shuajia, believe me, Xingtang Winery does have problems. Your boss will take the initiative to thank me tomorrow, and you don't have to worry about losing your job. Do you believe that you will kneel down and apologize in front of everyone? Chen Shuajia's eyes were red again, and she said to Lin Rui, I am obviously right, and I can talk to President Jing to make things clear, but now it makes no sense at all. What else did you bet on? What do you want me to do? What should I do? Should I watch you kneel down? What are you trying to do? Do you know Xingtang wine industry? Do you know how big this cooperation is? You don't know anything. Why are you doing this? Get out of here, don't show up in front of me again, don't destroy me again, I don't want to see you again, I will live well without you. Hearing this, Lin Rui's throat suddenly stiffened, and he felt extremely uncomfortable with the word stuck in his throat. Shuajia, You're not leaving, are you? I'm leaving. Chen Shuajia yelled, turned around and rushed to the street. Lin Rui grabbed Chen Shuajia's arm, but Chen Shuajia shook her arm violently, with great force and excitement. Lin Rui didn't dare to do anything else, for fear that Chen Shuajia would accidentally stretch herself or the baby in her belly. I won't stop you, just slow down. Lin Rui said. Looking at Chen Shuajia's leaving figure, Lin Rui's heart ached. Standing there, he took a few deep breaths, forced himself to suppress his emotions, and turned to look at the first floor of the tall building, where Hintong Advertising Company was located. Tomorrow. After the wine is identified, will Chen Shuajia have a different opinion of herself because of this incident? A little later. Lin Rui returned home and called Chen Shuajia, but no one answered. Sent a text message with a subtle apology, no reply. I didn't sleep well that night. My dreams were so chaotic that I didn't even know whether I was asleep or not. I woke up to the urgent ringing of the phone. Every time the phone rang, Lin Rui would check it first to see if it was Chen Shuajia calling him, but he was disappointed again. The name displayed is Fang Daming. I glanced at the time, it was 8 o'clock in the morning. As soon as I picked up the phone, I heard Fang Daming ask carefully, Brother Lin, did I disturb your dream? Did you dream about anything else? Hearing the somewhat mean voice, Lin Rui asked directly, when will the money for gambling arrive? He didn't watch the game, but the result was already in his mind. Brother. You are my real brother. Fang Daming is now afraid of disturbing Lin Rui's dream, it's too damn magical. He knew the result last night, and he had been holding it in until now. Knowing that he did not disturb Lin Rui's dream, his voice immediately became several times louder, and he said excitedly, 3-0, it's really 3-0, my dear brother, you are so awesome. Then he said with regret and annoyance, "Brother, I was wrong, so wrong. I really regret not listening to you, Brother Lin, and only bet 20,000 yuan. Otherwise, I would have made a fortune this time. I really regret it. Okay, stop crying. When will the money arrive?" Lin Rui asked again. However, Fang Daming was immersed in admiration and regret and couldn't extricate himself, saying, "Dear brother, I will never doubt you again. From now on, whatever you say is what I will follow you. Since we have known each other for many years, can you give me another chance and guide me? By the way, Brother Lin, are you going to invest in stocks? Whichever you tell me, I will buy. I will buy as much as you tell me." Lin Rui sighed, sat up from the bed, and said, "I'll ask you one last time, when will the money arrive?" Oh oh oh. Fang Daming finally heard what Lin Rui said and said hurriedly, "No later than tomorrow, Brother Lin, don't worry, it will be fine. The odds are 10 times, not counting the principal. Brother Lin, you will make a net profit of 800,000 yuan. I have benefited from you, Brother Lin, and made 200,000 yuan. Brother, what are you doing today? Take me with you. I'll pick you up right now, be your driver, buy you breakfast, and do anything I want, as long as you're willing to take me with you. I am convinced. I am really convinced. Scratch tickets, my father, and now gambling on football. 3 pieces. If scratch tickets are luck and my father is accidental, then what about betting on football? When I placed the bet, it was 2 days ago. At that time, the odds of the handicap had not been determined. If it was 10 times the odds, it was 10 times. If it was 3-0, it was 3-0. This is so scary. One thing is a coincidence, but what about 2 or 3 things? He couldn't understand it, and he didn't need to understand it. He was now sure of one thing, that is, Lin Rui really could do something. There were fairies in his dreams. Otherwise there is no way to explain it. Lin Rui is so awesome, he is simply a living god. Would you be stupid not to follow him and lick his ass? Lin Rui smiled when he heard this and said, "You want to be my driver? Don't you want your company anymore? Brother Lin, just leave the company to someone else. I have to follow you no matter what you say." Fang Daming said, "Brother, dear brother, are you still angry with me?" "Brother, wait a minute, just listen." Par. A crisp sound came from the phone. Fang Daming's voice came, "Brother, did you hear that? I'm going to slap myself in the face. Did you hear that? If you didn't, I'll do it again. I really know I was wrong. I take back everything I said before. Just tell me, why are you willing to take me with you? Just tell me and I'll do it. Okay? I have something to do today, let's talk about it another day." Lin Rui said. "Don't do it another day." Fang Daming was so excited at this time that he wanted to get out of the phone. He felt that Lin Rui still didn't forgive him, so he said bitterly, "Brother, can't I be your driver?" Lin Rui remembered something and said, "You stay in the company today. A company called Huatong Network will ask you for a loan. Remember, don't lend a cent." Huatong Network. Fang Daming knew this company and it was quite large. To be honest, companies of a certain size are eager to lend them money. Why? Because this is an investment cooperation, not a loan, and the interest rate is quite high. "Brother Lin, has this company offended you?" Lin Rui said, "It has nothing to do with me, just remember it. As for the reason, you will know it later." At the beginning, this company borrowed 5 million from Fang Daming's family company. I borrowed money on the first day, and the company went bankrupt on the second day. The boss simply ran away and never got a penny back. Fang Daming's company is not a big company, so how much liquid capital can it have? A bunch of financial managers are making a fuss, and the direct result is what people often talk about, a financial crash. Just lay down. The board is neat. Hang up the phone here. The phone dinged, it was a text message. I clicked on it and saw that it was sent by Chen Shuajia. "Don't come to the company. Leave me some dignity. I beg you. Call." It was rejected directly. Chapter 15, Really Fake Wine. Compared with previous days, Chen Shuajia came to the company much later today. She usually came to the company early, either to do preparatory work or to enrich herself, especially after she was transferred to the sales department. But after what happened yesterday, there was bound to be pointing and whispering. She didn't know how to deal with it, so she simply kept track of the time. This is also true. Since the start of work today, the entire company has been filled with discussions. No one is belittling Chen Shuajia, but rather a feeling of pity and regret. Speaking of which, Chen Shuajia is very popular in the company, but everyone thinks that Chen Shuajia is unlucky for marrying such an eccentric man. In addition, there is talk about manager Wu. No one dares to say anything openly for the sake of work, but secretly everyone says that he is a good for nothing. Everyone has their own thoughts about what happened yesterday, and they really feel that it is unfair for Chen Shuajia. Is General Zheng here? Chen Shuajia asked the front desk. Here I come. The receptionist looked at Chen Shuajia and said, Sister Shuajia, Manager Wu is a piece of shit. Everyone knows this, but they just don't dare to say it. Sister Shuajia, you are braver than many people, at least braver than me. You don't know that he always comes over to touch my hand, which is disgusting. I felt so relieved when I saw the punch from my brother-in-law yesterday. But, Sister Shuajia, are you going to leave the company? Chen Shuajia looked at the front desk, feeling surprised, and said, he bullied you, why didn't you say anything? The receptionist shook her head slightly and said, it's useless. Manager Wu has boosted the performance of the entire company and must be favored by the boss. I'm just a receptionist. He can be fired just like that. Many people in the company are like this. Everyone is angry but dare not speak out, unless they don't want this job anymore. Sister Shuajia, I really should have reminded you earlier. While talking, Chen Shuajia could also hear the discussions coming from inside. She didn't want to hear what was being said, but a hint of sadness inevitably appeared on her face. Seeing this, the receptionist said, Sister Shuajia, no one is saying anything bad about you, we just feel sorry for you. Hearing this, Chen Shuajia, who had a somewhat gloomy look on her face, smiled faintly. Anyway, at least someone felt sorry for his departure. A little bit. Chen Shuajia knocked on Jing Hongjuan's office door, and after getting a response, she walked in. Facing Jing Hongjun, she said calmly without any humility, Mr. Zheng, I want to apologize to you for what happened yesterday. No matter what, it has caused a very bad impact on you and the company. My friend was indeed a bit reckless. I hope you won't take it personally. Friend? Jing Hongjun was slightly stunned and said, isn't he your husband? Not now. Chen Shuajia said, Mr. Zheng, I am only apologizing to you. It does not mean that this matter is my unilateral fault. Manager Wu has a corrupt character and behaves improperly. Many people are angry but dare not speak out. I hope Mr. Zheng can listen to everyone's voice. It didn't take long. Chen Shuajia walked out of the office and headed towards the HR office. For Jing Hongjun, Chen Shuajia was an old employee of the company, and they got divorced because of this incident, which caused disharmony in their family. To a certain extent, he also felt that Chen Shuajia was quite pitiful, marrying such an unreliable person. Now that he apologized, he didn't want to pursue anything further. Agreeing to let Chen Shuajia resign is also equivalent to giving an explanation to Manager Wu. Shortly after Chen Shuajia left the office, Jing Hongjuan's phone rang. The call came from the wine identification center under the name of his father's company, Mr. Zheng. According to our identification, several wines of Xingtang wine are fake, not only low-end wines, but also mid-range wines. Only a few high-end wines fully meet the standards. The counterfeiting technology is very advanced. We spent a lot of effort to find out. Although it won't kill people, their wine is indeed adulterated. Fake? Jing Hongjun was confused when he heard this. He frowned and asked, are you sure there is no mistake in the appraisal? No wonder he asked that. Xingtang liquor industry is a large-scale and well-known local enterprise. How could it possibly produce fake liquor? Isn't this destroying itself? 100% sure, we dare not joke about this kind of thing. The other party said, Mr. Zheng, I just came out of the appraisal center and was about to send the appraisal report to you. Okay, I got it. Jing Hongjun put down the phone, frowned, and murmured, could it be that it was faked recently? He didn't know what problems had occurred within Xingtang liquor industry, but fake liquor was fake liquor. If nothing went wrong now, it would happen sooner or later. Once it was exposed, he, as the publicity company that undertook the advertisement, would definitely be to blame. Food issues have always been what the people are most concerned about. Meanwhile, Lin Rui took the elevator to the floor where Hengtong Company was located. He didn't know that Chen Shuajia was in the process of resigning and his calls were always rejected. Although he received the text message, could he not come? But I haven't entered the company yet. I heard a mocking voice behind me, saying, "Hey, isn't this the so-and-so who came here to fulfill his promise?" He's quite honest. Lin Rui turned his head to look at him and glanced at the contract in his hand. It's hard not to notice. The key is that this thing is just swinging in his hand, with a face full of teasing and provocation. Manager Wu came closer and tapped the contract in his hand on Lin Rui's shoulder, saying, "Do you know what this is? It's a contract with Xingtang Wine Industry. Do you know how big the order is? 450,000. The advance payment alone will be 100,000, and the total commission will be 30,000. Oh, it's really good. Come to think of it, I really have to thank your wife for working so hard to contact this client. I don't know how important it is. Now, I'm getting a bargain. Are you angry? Are you envious?" Lin Rui tilted his head slightly, looked at his right cheek, and said lightly, "It doesn't hurt anymore, right?" Hearing this, Manager Wu's mouth twitched, staring at Lin Rui and said, "What's the matter, you still want to fight? Come on. Come on, fight, if you dare to move your hand again. Now." In Lin Rui's eyes, he was like a clown. He ignored it, withdrew his gaze, and walked towards the company gate. Etc. Manager Wu took the lead and stopped Lin Rui at the company gate, saying, "Who do you think you are? Did I allow you to enter the company? Don't think I don't know what you want to do. You just want to ask Mr. Zheng for mercy. Let me tell you, it's useless. I will never agree. You must kneel down and apologize in front of everyone today. It won't work no matter who you ask. Now just stand here and wait. You are not allowed to enter the company without my permission, or I will ask the security guard to throw you out." He looked at Lin Rui coldly again, turned to the front desk and said, "Keep an eye on him. If he steps into the company without my order, you will not be able to continue working here." Hearing this, the receptionist was stunned. "Manager Wu, What do you mean, didn't you hear what I said?" Manager Wu snorted coldly, turned around and walked into the company. Seeing Lin Rui standing outside the door, the receptionist hesitated for a moment, then walked over and said, "Brother-in-law, I'm sorry, how about I take you to the reception room?" No. Lin Rui liked her calling him brother-in-law very much, and he could also feel that she had a good relationship with his wife Chen Shuajia. He smiled and said, "I won't trouble you. Since your manager Wu won't let me in, I'll just stand here and wait. Is Chen Shuajia here?" Seeing that Lin Rui's attitude was very firm, Tai Chen really didn't know what to do. "I'm here. Sister Shuajia is resigning. I'll go call her for you." As I was saying. After completing the resignation process, Chen Shuajia came out of the personnel office and heard Lin Rui's voice. He was startled and hurried over. Sure enough, I saw Lin Rui standing outside the company's door. Chapter 16. Who apologizes to whom? Zheng Hongjuan's office. After knocking on the door, Manager Wu walked in with the contract in his hand, looking flattering. He said, "Boss Zheng, I had dinner with the leader of Xingtang Winery last night. After much hardship, I finally got the contract. Now I just need you to sign and stamp. After I send a copy of the contract, I can arrange for the down payment to be transferred today." He put the contract on the desk. He didn't notice that Zheng Hongjuan's face had turned completely dark when he heard these words. In the past, this would definitely be a good thing, but now that alcohol is adulterated, signing this contract would be like jumping into a big pit. Why was Manager Wu so anxious to sign the contract? He couldn't help but think of what Lin Rui had said before. He didn't believe that there was no trick here. After all, there was such a commotion yesterday and the wine hasn't been identified yet, and you signed the contract. Before Zheng Hongjun could speak. After Manager Wu put down the contract, he said, "That bastard is here. President Zheng, this incident has caused a very bad impact within our company. I hope you can help me and definitely not let him off easily." "Mr. Lin is here? Where is he?" Zheng Hongjun asked hurriedly. If it weren't for Lin Rui, he would have signed the contract without hesitation at this moment. Once the contract is signed, the problem becomes serious. All this is thanks to Lin Rui's reminder. In addition, how did Lin Rui know that there was something wrong with Xingtang Liquor's wine? Could it be that Lin Rui had a relationship with the top management of Xingtang Liquor? But it's not right to think so. He now felt that Lin Rui was definitely not as bad as he had heard, and definitely not that simple. No matter what, they have helped me a lot. This bastard must have come here to beg for mercy from you, Mr. Zheng, but I stopped him outside the door and didn't let him in. Manager Wu said. Before he finished speaking, Zheng Hongjun has already stood up and walked quickly towards the door. Manager Wu was deeply moved when he saw this. He even ignored the contract worth hundreds of thousands of dollars just to show up for him. It seemed that his position in CEO Zheng's heart was very important. I have to say, he has a pretty wild imagination. At this moment, outside the company, Chen Shuajian pulled Lin Rui aside, said with a cold face, "Did I ever tell you not to come to the company again? Leave quickly, I will handle the company's affairs." Are you willing to leave the company like this? Lin Rui asked. What can I do if I am unwilling? Chen Shuajian looked at Lin Rui and said, do you have to kneel down and admit your mistake in front of everyone in the company? Even if I don't want this job, I don't want you to do this. I have already told President Chen that he won't pursue the matter further. I have already completed the resignation process and will be leaving later. You, leave quickly. This time Lin Rui did not refute. Because it means that Chen Shuajian cares about him, although this care is based to a certain extent on not wanting to embarrass herself. At this time, Zheng Hongjun walked out quickly from inside the company. Seeing Zheng Hongjun, Chen Shuajian suddenly felt nervous. She pushed Lin Rui, signaling him to leave quickly, and turned to greet Zheng Hongjun, Mr. Zheng, Unexpectedly, Zheng Hongjun passed her directly and stretched out his hand before he even got close to Lin Rui. He said, Mr. Lin, I'm really sorry for neglecting you. He didn't mean to ignore Chen Shuajian. He turned to Chen Shuajian and said, I'm sorry for making you feel wronged and causing you to have a conflict because of this matter. So, I'll treat you and Mr. Lin to a meal to make amends. Chen Shuajian was stunned in the spot. Eat. Make amends. Who apologizes to whom? Did I hear it right? I seem to hear General Zheng wanting to apologize and admit his mistake just now. Chen Shuajian was a little slow to react and asked, Boss Fang, what are you doing? Hey, look at me, why am I standing at the entrance of the company? Zheng Hongjun stepped aside and said to Lin Rui, Mr. Lin, please come in. I have made a cup of the best pu'er tea. Let's go to the office and talk. Looking at his appearance, Lin Rui already knew what was going on. But he stood there without moving, and said, Boss Zheng, Manager Wu just said that I cannot set foot in the company without his order, or he will have me thrown out, and the company's receptionist will also be fired by him. Throw it out? Fire it? Who the hell gave you such great power? Zheng Hongjuan's face suddenly darkened, and he said, Bullshit, Mr. Lin, don't worry, I must give you an explanation for this matter. Before he finished speaking, I heard Manager Wu yelling at everyone in the company to put down their work and gather at the front desk. Why collection? It goes without saying. Lin Rui chuckled and said to Zheng Hongjun, Boss Zheng, your Manager Wu is really a powerful person. He commands a lot of people. People who don't know him would think that this company belongs to him. Will he still take you seriously? Will you let him fulfill the previous agreement? The corner of Zheng Hongjuan's mouth twitched. This bastard named Wu. Soon, all the people in the company gathered at the company gate. Manager Wu stood at the front and looked up at Lin Rui, apologize, and be sincere. Otherwise, it will be hard for people to accept it. After all, it has caused such a bad impact. Yes, I want to apologize. Zheng Hongjun stared at him and said to everyone, everyone knows more or less about what happened before, and a public apology is indeed needed. Manager Wu put his hands behind his back, ready to accept the apology. However, Zheng Hongjun withdrew his gaze from everyone and fell on Manager Wu again, saying, Wu Yuanju, I want you to solemnly apologize to Mr. Lin and Chen Shuajian now. Mr. Zheng, it's not enough to just apologize, you have to kneel down. At this point, Manager Wu was slightly startled and asked, Boss Zheng, who do you want to apologize to whom? I asked you to apologize, are you deaf? Zheng Hongjun scolded. Manager Wu reacted for a moment before he was sure that he had heard correctly. He said, Boss Zheng, you must be mistaken. I was the one who was beaten. They also framed and slandered me, obstructing cooperation with Xingtang wine industry. Now I have signed all the contracts back. How could I be wrong? They should be the ones to apologize. You're pretty accomplished, aren't you? Zheng Hongjun looked at manager Wu coldly and said, if Mr. Lin hadn't reminded me, I would have asked someone to identify the wine and found that most of the wine had problems. Once the contract was signed, it would become a certainty, and the company would suffer a huge loss. Wu Yuanju, I've treated you well, right? Why are you trying to hurt me like this? Is there something wrong with Xingtang liquor industry? Wow. There was a lot of discussion. Chen Shuijia was a little confused. Was there really a problem? If these words came from Lin Rui, she would not believe them, but they came from General Zheng. But, how did Lin Rui know? Subconsciously, he turned to look at Lin Rui beside him. Feeling her gaze, Lin Rui smiled faintly and touched Chen Shuijia's fingers with his hand. But the next moment, she dodged it. Zheng Hongjun continued in a cold voice, when Mr. Lin reminded me before, you strongly opposed it. When you knew that I wanted to do the wine appraisal, you accelerated the signing of the contract overnight. Tell me, did you collude with Xingtang wine industry? Mr. Zheng, how could you wrongly accuse me? Manager Wu said in a daze, there can't be any problem with Xingtang liquor. Are you mistaken? Am I mistaken? Zheng Hongjun took out his phone, called, and asked, where are you? Mr. Zheng, I'll be in the elevator soon. The other person said. Soon. The elevator door opened and a person came out hurriedly. He saw the scene in front of him and was a little confused, to be honest. However, he immediately handed the appraisal report to Zheng Hongjun. Zheng Hongjun took a look at it, and then smashed it on Manager Wu's face, saying, open your dog eyes wide and look carefully. Manager Wu stared at the appraisal report with his eyes wide open. I don't want to talk nonsense with you. Zheng Hongjun pointed at the appraisal report and said to Manager Wu in a cold voice, the evidence is right here. According to the previous agreement, kneel down and slap yourself 10 times, and then get out of here immediately. Originally, the commission was about to be received, and Lin Rui was supposed to kneel down and apologize. How come I myself now? I don't believe it. Manager Wu waved his hand and threw the appraisal report to the ground, pointing at Lin Rui, it must be you who forged the appraisal report. Do you know the consequences of forgery? Lin Rui took out his phone calmly. 1. What are you doing? Asked Manager Wu. Lin Rui said, call the police. Chapter 17, Stupid, Lunatic. Call the police? Manager Wu was even more confused and asked, why did you call the police? Lin Rui looked at him and said, Manager Wu, you took advantage of your position to bully your subordinates. My wife was dissatisfied and came to you to argue, so you used violence against my wife and threatened her personal safety. Shouldn't you call the police? You're talking nonsense. What evidence do you have? Manager Wu asked. Lin Rui raised his head slightly and said, it was on your face. You were violent on the spot, and I stopped you in self-defense. Besides, President Zheng is an eyewitness, and everyone here saw it clearly. My wife, Chen Shuijia, has worked in this company for many years and has some feelings for her. I don't want to cause any negative impact on the company, so I didn't think of calling the police. But now that you, Manager Wu, have been fired by General Manager Zheng, you have no relationship with this company anymore, so you don't have to worry about anything. Manager Wu's face turned pale and he said, you are talking nonsense. You are making false accusations. You? Yeah. Lin Rui looked at everyone and said, everyone, I think everyone should have seen what happened yesterday. I wonder if you are willing to testify for me. Generally, no one wants to get involved in this kind of thing. But Lin Rui could see that after Zheng Hongjun mentioned the issue of alcohol, everyone had a more or less secretly happy expression on their faces. Why is this so? Because they knew that Manager Wu was finished. Really? After the voice fell, someone said, I am willing to testify, that's it, and it has happened more than once. Wu Yuanju is not a good person. He often takes advantage of his position and participates in all orders. He privately deducts our commissions. I have the transfer records. Another person said, he often touches my hand, leans on me at any time, and harasses me frequently. It's very disgusting. I can testify to this. Some even said boldly, he asked me to sleep with him. Luckily I had a trick up my sleeve and recorded it. After that, he didn't dare to do anything to me. Otherwise, I would have been forced out of the company long ago. Now I still have the recording. Another person said, he also colluded with customers to manipulate prices and took kickbacks. The sounds come one after another. What is meant by when the wall falls, everyone pushes it down? They have indeed been persecuted for quite some time. Listening to what everyone was saying, Jing Hongjun was furious. He naturally didn't know about these things. He pointed at Wu Yuanju and said, "You are really awesome." Okay, then someone, call the police and investigate thoroughly to see how many things this bastard has done during his tenure. Wu Yuanju panicked, completely panicked. He originally wanted to hold his tongue and Lin Rui couldn't do anything to him, but now, so many people have spoken out, and each of them said they have evidence. Do you dare to bet? I saw someone pick up the phone to call the police. No. Wu Yuanju hurriedly stopped him and said, "Boss Zheng, I was wrong. I apologize. I won't do it again. For so long, I have worked hard even though I have made no contributions. You can't do this to me. I beg you to let me go this time. I will quit my job now. I will get out of here right now. It's too late." Jing Hongjun said coldly. Seeing Jing Hongjuan's firm attitude, Manager Wu bowed to Lin Rui and said, "Mr. Lin, I was wrong. I sincerely apologize. Chen Jiashue, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I shouldn't have had such dirty thoughts about you. At this time, he no longer cared about his image, and knelt down in front of everyone, slapping them on the face one after another, saying, I'm sorry to everyone. I was wrong, please let me go this time, really, please." After being slapped more than a dozen times, both sides of Manager Wu's face were swollen. However, Lin Rui just watched coldly. When she thought of the person in front of her who dared to treat Chen Shuajie like that, a chill lingered in her heart. It was just a dozen slaps in the face. The punishment was still too light. Manager Wu knelt on the ground and slapped himself a dozen times. Seeing that no one spoke for him, he quickly thought of a way out and turned to Chen Shuajie. He walked towards Chen Shuajie while kneeling, slapping himself on the face as he walked, and said, "Chen Shuajie, I beg you, please help me say something. I have parents and children who are counting on me. I really don't dare to do it again." Chen Shuajie had never seen such a scene before. A grown man was like a dog, slapping himself in the mouth and crawling towards her. She subconsciously hid behind Lin Rui and grabbed Lin Rui's arm. The feeling of protecting your woman is awesome. He also put his arms around Chen Shuajie's waist, no resistance. "Chen Shuajie, I beg you." Wu Yuanju still wanted to bypass Lin Rui. However, Lin Rui kicked him on the shoulder and said, "Get away." Seeing Lin Rui making a move again, Chen Shuajie pulled him and said, "How about, just forget it. This kind of person doesn't deserve to be forgiven." Although Jing Hongjun was very angry, as the boss of the company, he didn't want to make a big deal out of it. He looked at Lin Rui and said, "Mr. Lin, what do you want? Just say the word and I'll do it." How could Lin Rui not hear what Jing Hongjun meant, but he was more concerned about Chen Shuajie. Feeling Chen Shuajie's gaze, he sighed in his heart. He didn't want to let Manager Wu off so easily, but he also didn't want to go against Chen Shuajie's wishes, so he said, "Go away. Hey, go away now." Manager Wu quickly got up from the ground and ran directly through the emergency passage without even taking the elevator. "It was my negligence that caused this to happen. I sincerely invite you to return to the company and continue working." Jing Hongjun said to Chen Shuajie, "There is also the matter of Xingtang wine industry. You and Mr. Lin had a conflict because of this matter. This matter is also my fault. No matter how wrong it is all my fault." Chen Shuajie opened her mouth slightly. She still hasn't figured out what's going on. Adulterating alcoholic beverages is illegal and is absolutely a top secret matter. How did Lin Rui know about it before? Compared to Chen Shuajie, Lin Rui was much calmer and asked, "Shuajie, do you still want to stay here and continue working?" Although he didn't want his wife to continue working, he also had to respect Chen Shuajie's opinion. I. Chen Shuajie originally wanted to leave the company today, how come? Before she could say anything, someone came out and said, Sister Shuejia, please stay. Yes, Shuejia, I really don't want you to leave. Several people talked at once. Seeing this, Jing Hongjun said, well, quickly reinstate him. That's all I have to say. Several people pulled Chen Shuejia into their company. Lin Rui looked at her with a smile. His wife was very popular. Seeing Chen Shuejia had entered the company, Jing Hongjun said to Lin Rui, Mr. Lin, if you don't mind, please come to my office and sit for a while. After entering the office, the two sat down to taste the fine purt and exchanged pleasantries for a while. It's nothing more than Xingtang liquor and Wu Yuanzhou's affairs. Without Lin Rui, we wouldn't know that the wine was fake, and now we wouldn't know that there was such a bastard in the company. Just like Lin Rui said before, something big is going to happen sooner or later. Of course I have to thank you. Lin Rui said with a smile, I didn't expect Mr. Jing to identify the wine so quickly. This is just a test. It was almost time to get off work yesterday, and the identification results were obviously released early in the morning. This is not something that ordinary people can do. Jing Hongjun smiled and said, my father has an appraisal center. It's not an authoritative organization, but the appraisal technology is not bad at all. Maintaining an appraisal center? Lin Rui was slightly surprised. As far as he knew, the only person who could match the name was the famous catering tycoon in Chun City, Jin Gong. This person is very low-key, and few people know how many industries he owns, but Lin Rui knows that in this city, he can be found in most of the high-end restaurants. Same surname Jing. Lin Rui looked at Jing Hongjun and said, Boss Jing, you really are a real person who never shows your true colors. Jing Hongjun smiled faintly and said, Mr. Lin, I would like to ask you a question. How did you know that Xingtang Liquor's wine was adulterated? Of course, it doesn't matter if Mr. Lin doesn't want to tell me. I'm just a little curious because the appraiser said that Xingtang Liquor's adulteration technology is very advanced. It's nothing, actually. Lin Rui smiled and said, I want to say that I am dreaming. Does President Jing believe me? Dreaming? What are you talking about with us? Jing Hongjun smiled awkwardly. If you don't want to talk, then don't talk. I want to be friends with you, but you are talking to me about metaphysics. Are you kidding me? Lin Rui said, my dreams are full of random things, and they are usually pretty accurate. I did dream about something last night. Mr. Jing's family has a restaurant called King Nangxian, right? Jing Hongjun said perfunctorily. Lin Rui looked at him and said, I dreamed that the rockery decorations in King Nangxian fell off and injured two guests. If Mr. Jing trusted me, he would have asked someone to repair it. Although the damage was not serious, it was reported in the news and they paid 100,000 yuan in compensation. The main reason was that the impact was not very good. Har. Jing Hongjun couldn't listen anymore and said, Mr. Lin, well. I suddenly remembered that I have something urgent to do. I'm really sorry for not entertaining you well. I can't let you help me for nothing. To express my gratitude, I will ask the finance department to remit 100,000 yuan to you according to the previous remittance account. Don't think it's too little, Mr. Lin, it's just a little token of my appreciation. Upon hearing this, have to. Another one who doesn't listen. Lin Rui smiled and said, Boss Jing, forget about the money. Speaking of this, I am not doing this for you, Boss Jing, but for my wife. If it is convenient, I would like to ask for a day off for Shuejia. Before I finished speaking, Jing Hongjun said, okay, no problem. If one day is not enough, a few days will do. I thought you should leave soon. This idiot is a psychopath. I originally thought that Chen Shuejia and Lin Rui's divorce was quite something, but now I see that they should just get divorced quickly. It's such a waste of such a good woman. Lin Rui could naturally sense the disgust in Jing Hongjuan's heart, so he stood up and said, then I won't bother you anymore. I'm sorry for not treating you well. I won't see you off. Chapter 18. Maybe it's a telepathy. Lin Rui left Jing Hongjuan's office and walked towards the office area. Then I saw a group of people surrounding Chen Shuejia. Shuejia, how did your husband know that there was something wrong with the wine from Xingtang Winery? Yeah, your husband is quite handsome. Seeing Wu Yuanzhou like that, I feel so relieved. Now that this scum is gone, we will all have a good life in the future. Everyone was talking at once, but Chen Shuajia had no idea how to answer. She didn't know how Lin Rui knew about it, and she didn't know how to say that she was divorcing Lin Rui. Everyone kept calling her husband, and she didn't know how to respond. Lin Rui walked over, with a faint smile on his face, looked at Chen Shuajia, and said, "Shuajia, I have something to say to you." Chen Shuajia glanced at Lin Rui, her expression somewhat unnatural. Yesterday, she scolded Lin Rui for this matter. She didn't expect that she had misunderstood Lin Rui. She was really embarrassed. As for what Lin Rui wanted to say, she could guess roughly. She said unnaturally, "I still have work to do. If you have anything to say." Before she finished speaking, Lin Rui said with a smile, "I have already asked for leave from President Xing for you. What right do you have to ask for leave for me?" Chen Shuajia said something dissatisfied, pretending to be very busy, picked up the mouse to operate the computer, and said, "I'm very busy, you." Lin Rui smiled and said to everyone, "Everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Lin Rui, and I am the wife of my wife Chen Shuajia." "Bitch, bitch." Everyone laughed when they heard it, and some couldn't help but burst out laughing. I thought Chen Shuajia's husband was quite humorous. Chen Shuajia's face turned red. Lin Rui continued with a smile, "Thank you very much for taking care of my wife's work. Thank you very much for coming forward today. I want to say thank you to everyone here. You're welcome. It's all my duty. Yes, we have always liked Shuajia. Seeing her being bullied, we naturally have to say a few words." Everyone responded. Lin Rui smiled and said, "Thank you very much, everyone. To be honest, because of this incident, Shuajia and I had some conflicts. Now she refuses to forgive me. If possible, please help me say a few words, at least let Shuajia give me a chance to explain." An older sister immediately stroked Chen Shuajia's shoulder and advised with a smile, "Shuajia, when a couple lives together, they always quarrel at the head of the bed and make up at the foot of the bed. Besides, your husband did nothing wrong in this matter. If you have any work, I will help you. Go quickly. Yes, Shuajia, you should be given a chance. Just listen." This made Chen Shuajia feel so embarrassed. "No, Sister Zhao, It's nothing, go. Whether she was willing or not, she was pushed out of the company by several people. They also pulled her hand and stuffed it into Lin Rui's hand, waving and chasing him, "If you don't make up, don't come back." By the way, he simply closed the company's door. Sister Zhao is a very enthusiastic person, Lin Rui said. He held the boneless, tender white hand in his hand and scratched the back of the hand with his fingertips. Feeling the movement of Lin Rui's hand, Chen Shuajia hurriedly pulled her hand back and asked, "What on earth are you going to do?" Lin Rui did not let her take it back and said, "Let me introduce myself to you again. Hello, my name is Lin Rui." Chen Shuajia looked at Lin Rui, but still pulled her hand back with force, glared at him, turned around and was about to go back to the company. Lin Rui said, "Don't you want to know how I knew that there was something wrong with Xingtang Liquor's wine, and how I knew Zhen Hongjun?" Hearing this, Chen Shuajia paused. She was indeed curious. He didn't respond, but his eyes were looking at Lin Rui, waiting for what to say next. Lin Rui chuckled and said, "Let's find a place to sit down. I haven't eaten yet. Now that the problem has been solved, you can't let me stay hungry." The two didn't go far. We sat down in a restaurant near the company with a nice environment. Lin Rui ordered stir-fried prawns with green onions and sweet and sour pork ribs, all of which were Chen Shuajia's favorites. He peeled a shrimp and put it in Chen Shuajia's bowl, but Chen Shuajia didn't move. She looked at Lin Rui and asked, "How did you know that?" Lin Rui pointed at the shrimp in the bowl. "The meaning is simple. Will you tell me or not? If not, I'm leaving," Chen Shuajia said. Lin Rui pulled out a tissue, wiped his hands, looked at Chen Shuajia and said, "I had a very long dream, and dreamed of many things, as if I had experienced a lifetime. Now the dream is over, and I am awake too. I know what I did before, and I am not qualified to let you forgive me with just a few words, but I hope you can give me a chance." Chen Shuajia looked at Lin Rui and said, "You mean you knew about Xingtang Liquor because you dreamed?" "Lin Rui, don't you think your words are ridiculous? Sometimes the truth is hard to accept." Lin Rui sighed inwardly and said, "Xingtang wine industry's profits have been rising sharply in the past 6 months, but their sales have not increased much. I talked nonsense for a while. In short, the data showed that there was something wrong with Xingtang Winery's wine. After hearing this, Chen Shuajia was dazed. When did Lin Rui know so much? No. In Chen Shuajia's impression, he only cared about lottery. When did he start paying attention to Xingtang wine industry? What Lin Rui said was reasonable and sounded like that. Watching him talking eloquently reminded Chen Shuajia of the university campus. Once upon a time, this man was full of ideals and ambitions, making her feel glowing. But then, Lin Rui could sense the sadness and sorrow in Chen Shuajia's eyes. He sighed inwardly, took out the loan contract and the envelope containing 6,000 yuan from Fang Daming, and placed them in front of Chen Shuajia, saying, "I have paid off all the debts. You don't have to worry about the debt anymore, and you don't have to pay it back every month." Chen Shuajia was startled. Finished paying it back? She picked up the loan contract and looked at it. Then he looked up at Lin Rui and asked, "Have you sold the house?" "No." Lin Rui said, "That house is yours. I have no right and I will never sell it." "Then how did you pay it back?" After asking, Chen Shuajia felt that something was wrong. This was a debt of 200,000 yuan. Even if she sold the house, it would not be enough to pay it back. She said, "What did you do? Although we are not together anymore, I also want you to be well. You can't do anything illegal." "No, don't worry, every penny I earn is legitimate." Lin Rui looked at Chen Shuajia and said seriously, "I want to give you the best life, and give our baby the best life." Hearing this, Chen Shuajia stood there in a daze. Lin Rui looked at Chen Shuajia and said, "Shuajia, even for the sake of the child, can you give me another chance?" When Chen Shuajia heard this, her eyes suddenly turned red. She looked at Lin Rui in disbelief and asked, "When did you know that?" She didn't tell anyone. He didn't tell anyone, including his own parents and Lin Rui's parents. "Maybe it's telepathy, I heard the child calling me dad." Lin Rui looked at Chen Shuajia and said, "Shuajia, I know you don't want to tell me because you think I'm not worthy of being a father. I don't ask you to agree to me now. What I want to say is that no matter how you treat me, I will always be by your side. Lin Rui, do you think I will still believe your sweet words? You forged a fake loan contract and came to deceive me. Do you think it's fun?" After hearing what Lin Rui said, it was impossible for Chen Shuajia to say that she didn't feel anything. After all, they had been together for so many years. But if she said that she believed it, she didn't believe it very much. She knew what Lin Rui was like before. He would have changed long ago if he could have changed. No matter how many times she talked to him and how many times they quarreled, he remained indifferent. Otherwise, they would not have ended their relationship in a divorce. And there is the debt. It's only been a short time. Can you pay it back as soon as you say you will? This is 200,000. How to pay it back? What to pay it back with? If Lin Rui had that ability, she wouldn't have to pay him back every month. The loan has really been repaid. If you don't believe me, you can call to verify. Lin Rui said seriously, "I can make money now. I know it's a bit inappropriate to say this now, but I can really support you too." Ding dong. At this time, the phone Lin Rui placed on the table rang. It's a text message. "The 850,000 yuan I remitted to Jing Hongjun for the Liu Wenpei I sold to him has arrived." Chapter 19. Who said that Waldong is the only way to do it? 850,000. Chen Shuajia was extremely surprised when she saw the text message about the incoming payment on Lin Rui's phone. She had never seen so much money. Looking at Lin Rui with surprise. Lin Rui was not showing off, he just wanted to prove himself to Chen Shuajia. He said, "Shuajia, Before I could open my mouth completely. Chen Shuajia reacted and looked at Lin Rui solemnly, saying, "What are you doing? Where did you get so much money? You are from Zhengzhonghui." Lin Rui didn't want to hide anything, and said, "I spent 50,000 yuan to buy a jade pendant. This jade pendant is an ancient piece from the Qing dynasty. I happened to meet your General Zheng and sold it to him for 850,000 yuan. That's how I met your General Zheng. Don't worry, this is not a deception. I went to the appraisal center for appraisal, and the transaction was completed there." Jade pendant. Antique item. When did you learn about antiques? Chen Shuajia was unable to react for a moment. No. Wait. Chen Shuajie looked at Lin Rui and said, even if that's the case, where did you get the 50,000 yuan to buy the jade pendant? Hearing this, Lin Rui paused for a moment and said, I bought a scratch ticket and won 80,000 yuan. He knew that Chen Shuajie hated lottery, but he didn't want to deceive Chen Shuajie. If everything was based on lies, then even if Chen Shuajie could change her mind, the relationship would not be solid. Really? Chen Shuajie's face darkened when she heard this, and then she sneered and looked at Lin Rui and said, I understand. You came to the company just to show off to me. As you said before, you will definitely win the lottery. Divorcing you is my loss. Do you think I will regret it? Do you think I will change my mind if you have more than 800,000 in your account now? Lin Rui, you are wrong. You never understand what I want. After saying. Chen Shuajie stood up from her seat with red eyes. Seeing this, Lin Rui panicked a little, and quickly stood up, stopped Chen Shuajie, and said, Shuajie, I don't mean that, I'm not showing off to you, That's enough. Chen Shuajie said coldly, no matter how much money you have, it has nothing to do with me. Uncle and aunt have a hard time. If you have money, you should show more respect to them. After saying. Just step away. Thank you. Lin Rui said. Chen Shuajie paused when she heard this. Lin Rui looked at Chen Shuajie and said, thank you for taking the photo. Thank you for letting me stand in front of you when you encountered problems. Thank you for still caring about my parents. Look over there. Chen Shuajie was a little confused and looked in the direction Lin Rui pointed. But there is nothing. The moment she turned around, her red lips kissed Lin Rui's face. And Lin Rui just looked at her with a smile. You? Chen Shuajie's face was full of anger. Lin Rui moved his face closer and wanted to kiss her red lips, and Chen Shuajie subconsciously dodged back. I'm being a hooligan. Lin Rui said, you can call the police and have me arrested, or you can slap me in the face and scold me. Chen Shuajie pushed Lin Rui, her face slightly flushed, and asked, what on earth are you going to do? You can't bear it, can you? Lin Rui looked at Chen Shuajie and said, if you don't care about me, will you be heartless? If you don't care about me, will you worry about where the money comes from? Since you still care about me, give me a chance. What a twisted logic. Before Chen Shuajie could react, Lin Rui hugged Chen Shuajie in his arms and kissed her. Chen Shuajie's eyes widened. His head was also dizzy, but after he came to his senses, he pushed Lin Rui hard and was about to slap him. Lin Rui directly moved his face forward. A kiss for a mouth, worth it. However, Chen Shuajie's eyes were red, but she stopped her hand and said, Lin Rui, why are you doing this? For so many years, you have done whatever you want. Have you ever asked me if I am willing? You are right, I can't bear it. I still love you, so what? You know how long I have persisted and how long I have suffered. I have finally made up my mind, please stop giving me hope, I really can't bear it anymore. After saying. She pushed Lin Rui away, her eyes red, and trotted out of the restaurant. Lin Rui, on the other hand, just stood there stupidly. After a while, I finally reacted. The words, I still love you, were like a stimulant that went straight into his heart, making him feel full of energy. I didn't chase Chen Shuajie. It's no use catching up with him, he knows Chen Shuajie and she won't listen to anything he says now. He sat down at his seat, peeled all the shells of a plate of fried prawns with green onions, packed up the dishes, and wrote a line of words on the envelope containing the money. Then I took it to Chen Shuajie's company. The front desk handed the item to Chen Shuajie. When Chen Shuajie saw the envelope, there was a sentence written on it, I won't let you down again. Looking at the box of peeled shrimp meat, Chen Shuajie felt mixed emotions. After leaving, Lin Rui was in a very good mood. No matter what, he understood Chen Shuajie's heart today, which was more important than anything else. The only thing he was not satisfied with was that he did not kiss Chen Shuajie back. Who said that wall dong is the best way to do it? But it doesn't matter, if it doesn't work once, just kiss a few more times. Fang Daming is sitting in the office of Hongyuan Financial Management. At some point, the phone rang. Brother, did you receive the money? Brother Bo is always reliable in his work. I received it, not a penny less. Fang Daming said with a smile. That's right, it's definitely not bad. But come to think of it, brother, you are really amazing. You can even guess it. I am really impressed. If I had known this, I would have voted with you. Tell me, do you have any inside information? Why didn't you remind me? Said Brother Bo. Fang Daming smiled and said, why didn't you remind me? I was so determined to place the bet, isn't that clear enough? But you, Brother Bo, don't believe it at all. Yes, it's my brother's fault. Bo Ji said with a smile, then, is there any other market? The World Cup is over, there is no market for it. Fang Daming said. He would definitely not tell anyone about Lin Rui. First of all, they might not believe him even if he told them. Secondly, he had to ask Lin Rui for his opinion on this matter. If he let it slip, Lin Rui would be unhappy and not take him with him. What would he do? How much was too little? After chatting for a few words, the phone was hung up. Feeling Bo Ji's attitude of fawning on him, Fang Daming felt secretly happy. How can I describe this feeling? Anyway, I have never felt it before. Just when I was about to call Lin Rui, there was a knock on the office door. Come in. Fang Daming said. The office door opened and two people came in. One was in a suit and the other was a company employee. Mr. Fang, this is Mr. Zhang Xinghai from Huatong Network. He wants to discuss a loan with you, said the company staff. Looking at the person coming, Fang Daming was not surprised at all. Lin Rui had told him before that people from Huatong Network would come to borrow money, and he would be surprised if they didn't come. Fang Daming stood up and shook hands politely with the visitor. After sitting down, Zhang Xinghai said, Mr. Fang should know our Huatong Network, right? Yes, I know. It's developing well and it's a listed company. It shouldn't be short of money. Why did you suddenly think of borrowing money from us? Fang Daming said calmly. If it were before, he would definitely not have this attitude. After all, this is a listed company. The fact that they borrow money from their own company is enough to brag about. But now. Sorry, my heart already belongs to Brother Lin. We are indeed not short of funds, but the company has launched a new project and needs to make some money to prepare for it. Said Zhang Xinghai. Are you still maintaining this style? Fang Daming smiled gently and asked, how much does Mr. Zhang plan to borrow? 5 million. Zhang Xinghai said, it will take 2 months. After 2 months, I will pay back 5.5 million yuan in one lump sum, including the principal and interest. 2 months, 500,000 in interest. There is no doubt that this is a big client. If it weren't for Lin Rui's reminder, Fang Daming would definitely not have too many doubts about the name of Huatong Network and such a high interest rate. Although he doesn't know why Lin Rui didn't let him lend the money, since it was Lin Rui's suggestion, he would definitely do it. Otherwise, you will definitely regret it. Mr. Zhang, 5 million is not a small amount. Although the interest rate Mr. Zhang proposed is not low, our company is small and we really don't have that much money to lend. Fang Daming said. Zhang Xinghai raised his eyebrows slightly. It's not like he didn't know about Hongyuan financial management. He didn't have much more, but he could definitely take out 5 million. He said, how about 4 million? Also a lot. Fang Daming said. Zhang Xinghai looked at Fang Daming and said, Boss Fang, I came to your company today because I saw your strength. You are not the only company in the city that needs loans. With the reputation of our Huatong network, we will not have trouble borrowing the money. Besides, the interest I offer is not low. Since Boss Fang is in a difficult situation, forget it. As they said this, they all stood up. He felt that Fang Daming would definitely try to keep him. However, Fang Daming didn't even bother to stand up. He nodded and said, okay, then I won't see you off. Chapter 20. Something really happened at the rockery. Zhang Xinghai left with a snort. Fang Daming never thought that one day he would feel so comfortable when he refused a loan. You have to know that this is a loan of 5 million yuan with an interest of 500,000 yuan for 2 months. Normally, it is difficult to find such a big customer even if you are eager to help, let alone refuse the loan. What's more, they actively come to you. Now. I'm sorry, even if you say anything, I'll just say 2 words. No. Be very resolute and don't hesitate. He picked up the phone and prepared to call Lin Rui, but the next moment, he hesitated again. It's better to withdraw the money and give it in cash. To send cash, you have to meet in person. What if he calls me and asks me to transfer money but doesn't bring me along? Cash is better, yes, cash. The chances of success are always higher when you meet in person than when you call. In the end, the call was never made. Leaving the company and withdrawing large amounts of cash was a bit cumbersome, but before leaving the company, he instructed his subordinates to keep an eye on the Huatong network and report any changes to him as soon as possible. I really want to know what will happen to Huatong network. After Lin Rui left Huatong Advertising, he went to the stock exchange. There will be relevant news about Huadong Medicine in 3 days. The stock price will start to rise on the day the news is released. Before the news is released, you must seize the opportunity and invest your funds at the lowest price. He currently has less than 880,000 yuan in his account, and with the money he earned from gambling, he has 1.68 million yuan. Certainly. The money for betting on football has not arrived yet. I didn't urge Fang Daming to do anything. After sending Chen Shuajie several rogue text messages, naturally she would not reply to any of them, but Lin Rui was sure that Chen Shuajie must have read them. Are you shameless? How can you have the face to be so shameless in front of your own wife? The fact is, every time there was a phone call or text message, Chen Shuajie read it. Even if she didn't want to, she would read it anyway. Every time after reading it, she would curse in her heart, "You have no shame." The next day, Lin Rui came to Huatong Company early, carrying large and small bags of food in their hands. Part of it is for Chen Shuajie, and part of it is for the front desk. He knew that the receptionist had a good relationship with his wife Chen Shuajie, so it was a naked bribe with only one purpose, to tip off. "Brother-in-law, you and sister Shuajie haven't reconciled yet?" asked the receptionist. "No, so I'm asking you for help." Lin Rui smiled and said, "When you have nothing to do, please help me whisper a few nice words to her. And by the way, help me see if Shuajie has eaten the food I sent her." The receptionist smiled, made a gesture, and said, "No problem." They left each other a phone number. When Chen Shuajie arrived at the company, Lin Rui had already left. As soon as she sat down at her workstation, the receptionist came over with something Lin Rui had brought. She said with a smile, "Sister Shuajie, here, my brother-in-law brought it. It came early. Eat it while it's hot." "Oh, Shuajie, your husband is really caring. He doesn't eat at home, but sends it here. Isn't this just showing off your love? What did you give me?" "Milk." "A loving breakfast, Shuajie, your husband is quite nice." A group of people surrounded them and took out things. "Actually, it's nothing. The breakfast Lin Rui made doesn't look great, but you can tell that he put a lot of effort into it." Chen Shuajie's face flushed with their teasing, but looking at these breakfasts, she felt an indescribable feeling in her heart. Before this, let alone asking Lin Rui to cook a meal, he had never opened the refrigerator. He didn't care about anything big or small, and only had the lottery in his eyes. "You guys take it and eat it." "We don't want to eat it, this is made by your husband." Everyone started to make noise again. But in the end, Chen Shuajie did not eat this breakfast. The receptionist sent a text message to Lin Rui, saying, "Brother-in-law, I didn't have breakfast." Lin Rui didn't feel any surprise. Persistence is the key. In the office, Jing Hongjun glanced at the newspaper of the day. "When I saw a certain place, my body trembled violently. At King Nangxiang restaurant, a rockery decoration fell and injured a dining customer. After seeing the content, I was stunned." After realizing what was happening, he took out his phone and called the manager of King Nangxiang, asking, "What's going on with the rockery decorations?" The store manager said bitterly, "Mr. Zheng, I don't know why it just fell and hit a customer who was dining there, knocking him down on the spot. It was also a coincidence that among the people dining there yesterday, there was a reporter from a local newspaper, who took photos right away. General Zheng has already dealt with this matter." After negotiation, it was finally decided to compensate 100,000 yuan. Then the store manager said something. But Jing Hongjun no longer had the heart to listen. At this moment, he just felt it was too incredible, even a creepy feeling. The rockery really fell down, and I really lost 100,000 yuan. But Lin Rui, how did he know that? It is unlikely that it was Lin Rui who did it, but if not, then what was it? Remember what happened with Xingtang liquor industry before? Lin Rui said it was a dream, and he dreamed about Qing Nanxiang. Is this true or false? After hanging up the phone, Jing Hongjuan's mind was in a mess. A little bit. He got Lin Rui's phone number from Chen Shuejia, called him, and said, Mr. Lin, are you free now? If you are, would it be convenient for us to meet? Lin Rui heard this, chuckled, and said, Boss Zheng, you don't seem to take my reminder seriously. Zheng Hongjun felt a little embarrassed when he heard this. Lin Rui had clearly reminded him before that even if he had paid a little more attention and asked someone to check the rockery, this kind of thing could have been avoided. Now that it has happened, it is obvious that Lin Rui did not take people seriously at all. How can one argue or explain something that is so obvious? He said directly and sincerely, Mr. Lin, yes, it is my fault. I took your kindness for granted. That is why I want to apologize to you in person. I'm just giving you a kind reminder. It's your choice whether you believe it or not, so there's nothing to apologize for. Lin Rui said indifferently. Zheng Hongjun could tell that Lin Rui didn't like him very much. If it was someone else, he would never rush to meet him. But now he was like a weed in his heart. He really wanted to know how Lin Rui knew about this. He smiled awkwardly and insisted, Mr. Lin, I really want to meet you. Is it convenient? Lin Rui hesitated for a moment and said, I'm at the stock exchange on Imean Road. No matter what, my wife still works in someone else's company. Don't be too disrespectful. Knowing Lin Rui's exact address, Zheng Hongjun hurriedly said, Okay, I'll be there right away. I hung up the phone here. On the other side, Lin Rui's phone rang again. Fang Daming called and said the money had arrived and he was going to send it to Lin Rui. He made an appointment yesterday and just withdrew money from the bank. When he learned that Lin Rui was at the exchange, he drove to the exchange without saying anything. Zheng Hongjun came to the exchange. Looking around, he saw Lin Rui standing in the hall, looking up at the stock board. There were indeed a lot of people there. Seeing this, Zheng Hongjun quickly called the lobby manager. The manager also knew this young master, so he hurried over and asked, Mr. Zheng, what do you want? Open a VIP room for me and make me a pot of good tea. Zheng Hongjun said. Okay, Mr. Zheng, please come this way, said the lobby manager. However, Zheng Hongjun walked towards where Lin Rui was, and when he got close to him, he smiled and said, Mr. Lin, you didn't have to wait long. I opened a VIP room. If you don't mind, let's go in and have a cup of tea. Mr. Zheng, you're too polite. Lin Rui said. What are you talking about, Mr. Lin? It's my honor. Zheng Hongjun made a gesture of invitation in the direction of the VIP room. As he walked towards the VIP room, he smiled and said, Remember that Mr. Lin is 1 year older than me, so I will take the liberty to call Mr. Lin Brother Lin. Brother Lin, don't call me Mr. Zheng all the time. Just call me Xiao Lin. Any name is fine. This will make you seem more intimate. This is undoubtedly a relationship. At this time, Lin Rui's phone rang. Lin Rui thought that Chen Shuejia might have replied to the text message, so he took it out and took a look at it immediately. The text message is a text message, but it is an incoming text message. Profit, 100,000. It was obviously the 100,000 yuan that Zheng Hongjun promised in the office yesterday. Looking at this message, Lin Rui stopped and looked at Zheng Hongjun, saying, Boss Zheng, I have received your 100,000 yuan thank you fee. The matter of Xingtang wine industry is over. I was not able to help with the matter of King Nangxiang, and I cannot afford such high standard treatment from Boss Zheng. I have a friend coming over later, so I won't bother Mr. Zheng anymore. After saying. Without any hesitation, he turned around and walked back. Chapter 21 Serving Tea. To put it bluntly, this doesn't even take you as a human being. $100,000, it's obvious that they just want to get rid of me. They don't want to step on my favor, they don't want to keep any friendship with me, and they are eager to cut off this relationship. What's the point of talking about that? Zheng Hongjun thought to himself that the money arrived at a very inappropriate time. He did have such an idea yesterday. He felt that Lin Rui was a psychopath. He regarded the 100,000 yuan as a thank you and did not want to have any more interactions with him in the future. But it's different now. The thing about the rockery is so bizarre. Seeing this, Zheng Hongjun hurriedly stopped Lin Rui and said, Brother Lin, I am wrong. Don't be angry with me. The main reason is that I didn't believe what Brother Lin said yesterday, otherwise I wouldn't have let it happen. How could I know that Brother Lin is a real person who hides his true face? I am ignorant and underestimated you. It's my fault. I think I'm a big shot because I'm just a little bit of a spendthrift. To be honest, I came here today to apologize for this matter. I had a bad attitude yesterday. I admit my mistake to you. Is that not enough? To be honest, Lin Rui didn't know much about Jin Hongjun, which was somewhat different from Fang Daming. After all, he and Fang Daming were classmates, and before that, he had no intersection with Jin Hongjun. However, after hearing these words, my impression of him has really changed a lot. At least I feel that he is somewhat different from some of those pretentious young masters. At this time, Fang Daming walked into the exchange carrying a big bag and trotted over. Halfway through, he saw Jin Hongjun and asked in surprise, "Mr. Jin? Do you know Brother Lin?" They both belonged to the second generation of rich people. Although they were not very familiar with each other, they knew each other. Jin Hongjun's brain was also quick. Hearing this, he knew that Fang Daming and Lin Rui must be close friends, so he said, "You want to invite Brother Lin to the VIP room? I didn't expect that you also know Brother Lin. Then let's go together. Brother Lin, please come in." Fang Daming saw it and thought to himself, Brother Lin must have a close relationship with Jin Hongjun. Although he knew this young master before, he was actually a little far away from him and was not on the same level. He hurriedly said, "Brother Lin, I have to borrow your light." What a coincidence. I didn't expect that you, Brother Lin, actually know young Master Jin. When Lin Rui saw this situation, then we can't embarrass Jin Hongjun anymore. He nodded slightly and walked towards the VIP room. Jin Hongjun took a step forward and asked Lin Rui to come in. Then he followed behind him and walked towards the sofa. After Fang Daming entered the VIP room, he stopped in front of the table, put his bag on the table, opened it directly, showed the money, and said, "Brother Lin, this is 1 million, please accept it." Although it happened in front of Jin Hongjun, Fang Daming felt that the two had a close relationship, so he did not hide it. Lin Rui had just sat down when he heard this. He glanced at the money on the table, looked at Fang Daming, and said, "Daming, the money is not right. With odds of 10 times, there is no way that they can be wrong. The previous 80,000 was paid by Fang Daming, so the correct amount should be 800,000. Fang Daming said, "Brother Lin, you have to accept this money no matter what. First of all, you saved my father, which is not something that can be measured by money. Secondly, it was you who reminded me of Huatong Network, both of which are life-saving favors. This little money is not enough to express my gratitude to you, Brother Lin. Speaking of which." Fang Daming stepped forward, poured a cup of steaming hot tea, blew on it, raised his hands high, and said to Lin Rui, "Brother Lin, I don't want to say anything else. It's all hypocritical if I say too much. If you think I, Fang Daming, am not bad, just accept this money and drink this cup of tea. From now on, you are my dear brother. If you think I, Fang Daming, am not qualified, just tell me, and I will just turn around and leave without saying a word. No matter what choice Brother Lin makes, in my heart, you will always be my big brother. If you need me, just give me a call and I will definitely do it 100%. Jin Hongjun was stunned. What the hell is this? But he also noticed Fang Daming's words. He saved his father. It was obvious that there was something wrong. To be honest, I'm very curious. Lin Rui smiled lightly and said, "You want me to take advantage of you and drink your mouth, right? Brother Lin, I'm sincere." Fang Daming said. Lin Rui shook his head slightly, but still reached out his hand, took the cup of tea, took a sip and placed it on the table. Seeing this, Fang Daming smiled and said, "Brother Lin, which stock are you talking about? Which one should we buy? In a place like this, what else can we talk about except stocks?" He thought that Jin Hongjun was here to seek advice from Lin Rui. Jin Hongjun heard this and said, "Fang Daming, you mentioned Huatong Network just now. Are you optimistic about Huatong Network stocks? I bought some, and the performance is pretty good. Did you buy Huatong's shares?" Fang Daming was a little surprised when he heard this. He didn't know what the Huatong incident was, but Lin Rui had told him before not to lend money to Huatong. It was obvious that there was something wrong. If the two had a good relationship, he should have given some warnings. This made him a little confused, and he looked at Lin Rui with a little puzzlement. Jin Hongjun naturally caught this look and asked, "What's wrong? Is there something wrong?" Lin Rui glanced at him and asked, "How much did you invest?" 200,000, said Jing Hongjun. Lin Rui looked at the time and said, "Hurry up and sell it, maybe there is still time." "What does this mean?" Jing Hongjun immediately became interested. He really wanted to verify what was going on with Lin Rui. He said, "Brother Lin, do you mean that Huatong Network's stock price will fall?" Lin Rui glanced at him and said, "It's not a drop, it's a closure." "What? Close the market?" Jing Hongjun was stunned for a moment. What a joke! Under what circumstances will the trading be closed? Either the company is delisted or something major happens to the company. Huatong Network is operating well, so how could it be closed just like that? Brother Lin, this is not very likely. The internet stock market has been performing well. Although Huatong Network has not been listed for long, its stock price has been rising steadily. I took a look this morning and it has risen a bit compared to yesterday. How can it be closed just like that? This is also true. But after a moment of reaction, he looked at Lin Rui and said, "Brother Lin, is this what you said before?" Lin Rui understood what he meant and said, "Well, is this a dream again?" When he said it the first time, Jing Hongjun thought it was perfunctory, and when he said it the second time, he thought it was a joke. Now this is the third time. He took out his phone and made a call, saying, "I received news that Huatong Network stocks are going to be in trouble. Sell them quickly. Damn. The loss is on me." Lin Rui didn't know who was on the other side, so he looked at him and said, "Boss Jing, do you trust me so much?" "Brother Lin, what are you talking about?" Jing Hongjun said, "As the saying goes, once, twice, there is no third time. Brother Lin is doing this for my own good. How can I not believe him? Oh, yes. Brother Lin, how much time do I have left?" Lin Rui looked at him and said, "About half an hour." "Half an hour? Sell all the 200,000 shares." To be honest, it's a bit difficult. Unless you are selling at a low price, it is not impossible to sell it in half an hour according to the current price, but after it is put up, it depends on whether there is anyone to take it. He quickly got up, went to the trading machine nearby, and started to operate it. According to the current price, each share is reduced by 50 cents for external sales. This decline is not a small percentage. You have to know that the 50 cents per share increase took more than 2 months, which means that all the previous increases were in vain, and the stock was sold at cost price. Does it hurt? Not at all. To him, this is just a small amount of money and he speculates in this purely for fun. So there was no hesitation at all. To a certain extent, it is to verify the authenticity of what Lin Rui said. If it's true, that's awesome. If it's not as he said, then he's overthinking it. For him, this is just a drop in the bucket, and the cost of verification is negligible. Chapter 22 is numb. Half an hour's time. Not very long. During this half hour, Lin Rui was not idle either. First, he transferred the 1 million that Fang Daming brought into his account opened at the stock exchange. Now his funds are all in place. Including the 100,000 yuan transferred by Jing Hongjun later, the total available funds reached about 1.98 million yuan, nearly 2 million yuan. But he didn't actually do anything. More attention is still being paid to the stock board of Huadong Medicine. During this half hour, Jing Hongjun also completed the sale of Huatong Network stocks. After all the transactions were completed, I sat back on the sofa and kept an eye on the stock board of Huatong Network. At a certain moment, his body trembled violently. Because he noticed that Huatong Network's stock board was suspended. The two big words above are so eye-catching, closed. It's closed. It's really closed. That creepy feeling made him shudder unconsciously. This caught Fang Daming's attention, and he said, "Fuck, what's wrong with you?" Jing Hongjun pointed at the trading machine beside him, which was displaying the stock board of Huatong Network. He looked at Lin Rui in a daze and said, "Lin, brother Lin, it's closed." "Fuck, what are you talking about? You are crazy." Fang Daming said. Now Lin Rui is the god in his heart. No matter who you are, he will not tolerate anyone saying anything bad about Lin Rui. Jing Hongjun was confused at this time, and said, "No. I mean, Huatong Network stock board is really closed." Fang Daming turned his head and looked in the direction he pointed. Har har har. Fang Daming laughed out loud, patted Jing Hongjun on the shoulder, and said, "So, just tell me whether you are convinced or not. I can understand your feelings very well. It's okay, don't be afraid. Brother Lin is just so amazing. You just need to get used to it." Fang Daming is no longer surprised. But he was also really happy, because it meant that what his god, his brother Lin, said had come true once again. At this moment, he felt just as he had predicted. Looking at Jing Hongjuan's silly look, he felt so happy. Jing Hongjun was sobered up by his beating. He looked at Lin Rui and said, "Brother Lin, what's going on? Why is this happening?" Lin Rui looked indifferent. How many surprises could there be for something that he had known for a long time? If it hadn't happened, that would have surprised him. He said calmly, "Tax evasion and tax avoidance were investigated." A simple sentence is enough to tell the truth. Fang Daming was stunned for a moment and said, "Brother Lin, this is a big deal. No wonder you didn't let me lend the money to Huatong Network before. If it weren't for your advice, the 5 million would have been dug up and there would be no way to get it out." No, that bastard Zhang Xinghai, did he know that the company was going to be in trouble, so he planned to raise money from all sides and run away. It was pretty much what he guessed. That is indeed the case. When Huatong got into trouble, Zhang Xinghai did indeed pass the blame onto other shareholders, then collected some money and ran away. Lin Rui shook his head slightly and said, "He didn't manage to escape. He was stopped at the airport. However, he did transfer the borrowed money away. There is no chance of getting it back." After hearing this, Jing Hongjun looked at Fang Daming and asked, "What's going on? Did you know this a long time ago?" Fang Daming glanced at Lin Rui and saw that he had no intention of stopping him. He said, "I didn't know what was going on before, but Brother Lin reminded me that Huatong Network would borrow money from my company and told me not to borrow. Do you know how much interest that old guy asked me to pay? 5 million, 2 months, 500,000 interest. I'm really tempted. If it weren't for Brother Lin, I would definitely have borrowed it. After all, this is Huatong Network, a listed company. Now, luckily there is Brother Lin. This is the second time Brother Lin has saved me. My dad had a heart attack before. If Brother Lin hadn't reminded me to take him to the hospital earlier, I don't know what would happen to him now. Also, do you know how awesome Brother Lin is? In the World Cup, France beat Brazil 3-0, and Brother Lin knew about it before the game. Also, scratch lottery tickets, Brother Lin said he won 100,000, and that was definitely 100,000. This said. Fang Daming's mouth is like setting off firecrackers. Jing Hongjun was stunned, completely stunned. To be exact, I'm numb. In any other scenario, he wouldn't believe this nonsense. But now, the Huatong Network incident is right in front of us, and there is also the rockery incident. How do we explain it? There is only one thing in my mind, is this still a human being? Jing Hongjun felt like he was struck by lightning. He felt that he had really paid off to get to know Lin Rui. No wonder Fang Daming offered tea with both hands and acknowledged such a big brother. What the hell, didn't acknowledge him? Was he stupid? After realizing what was happening, he stood up immediately, as if afraid that Lin Rui would run away. He quickly poured a cup of tea, offered it with both hands, and said, "Brother Lin, I." Seeing his posture, Fang Daming quickly stretched out his hand and stopped him, saying, "Wait a minute. I understand how you feel, but why are you just empty-handed? You didn't even offer your respects to me? You are the great Master Zheng, how dare you?" Lin Rui frowned and said, "Daming, what nonsense are you talking about?" Jing Hongjun said hurriedly, "Brother Lin, Daming is right, that, Brother Lin, I was ignorant." Then he took out his phone and called. He instructed the company to transfer another million to Lin Rui according to the previous account. 1 million is definitely an unattainable number for ordinary people, but for Jing Hongjun, it is nothing. If it weren't for Lin Rui, who knows how much the loss would be once the Xingtang winery incident was exposed. In addition, if the Huatong stock incident hadn't been sold in time, the investment of 200,000 would basically be lost. He must make friends with a person like Lin Rui. If he takes out this 1 million today, he will definitely be able to earn it back as long as he follows Lin Rui. No matter what, he had to establish such a relationship, fearing that Lin Rui would reject him, so he said, "Brother Lin, this is a little gift from me. You have accepted Da Ming's gift, so please don't reject mine, Brother Lin." Talking. Picking up the teacup again, he offered it to Lin Rui with both hands. Before Lin Rui could speak, Fang Daming stopped him again and said, "Wait a minute, what did you call me? I came before you and entered Brother Lin's sect. Although I am called brother, I am also the master. I am your eldest brother, and you have to be the second one. Do you understand? Also, there are 3 rules that you must follow. The first rule is that you must not disturb Brother Lin's sleep, no matter what. This is very important. The second rule is that Brother Lin's affairs must not be mentioned to anyone without Brother Lin's permission, not even your father. The third rule is that Brother Lin's words are final. You must respect your teacher and respect his teachings. If you dare to disobey, not only will Brother Lin not forgive you, but all the brothers will not let you go either." Lin Rui laughed when he heard this. "By the way, have you watched too much TV drama?" He waved his hand and said, "Don't listen to Daming's nonsense. I just know a little more. If there is a chance to make money, you can follow me if you trust me. However, any investment has risks. Whether you make money or lose money, it's your own." When Jing Hongjun heard this, he was not happy and said, "Brother Lin, do you think less of me?" Chapter 23. It's really because of him. To be honest, I feel a little helpless and speechless. Lin Rui meant that whether it was the extra 200,000 yuan that Fang Daming paid or the 1 million yuan that Jing Hongjun had someone give him, they were both considered investments by the two in the stock market. But the two of them just had 2 words. No. The attitude is very firm. Lin Rui. Jing Hongjun offered tea with both hands and said, "Brother Lin, I am also very serious. If you..." Okay. Lin Rui took the tea, took a sip and put it on the table. He didn't want to continue talking about this, and he could see that if he continued, the two would never stop talking, as if something would happen to him if he didn't accept the money. I can understand what they both mean. They just want to follow me and have an extra layer of relationship with me. If I don't accept the money, they will be unable to sleep or eat. You guys can recruit them however you like. But one thing is true, that is, I also want to be friends with Jing Hongjun. No matter what I do, I can't do without connections. Second brother, congratulations. Fang Daming said with a smile. When Jing Hongjun heard this, the corner of his mouth twitched and he said, "Can you not call me the second one?" "Okay, Jing Laowa, come and sit down." Fang Daming said with a smile. "Get out of here." Jing Hongjun cursed angrily, then looked at Lin Rui and said, "Brother Lin, I saw you looking at the shares of Huadong Pharmaceutical for a long time. Is there going to be any movement in this stock?" "Well, but not now," Lin Rui said. Fang Daming's eyes lit up when he heard this, and he said, "Brother Lin, how much can this share earn?" Lin Rui glanced at him and said, "About 45%. "What? 45%? When they heard this, they were both stunned. I have never seen a stock rise so sharply. In other words, if you invest $100 and earn 1 million, that would be 450,000. Fang Daming asked hurriedly, "Brother Lin, when do we enter?" "When the time comes, I will tell you." Lin Rui glanced at the time and said, "If you have nothing to do, just stay here for a while. If there is a downward trend, tell me and I will go out." "Brother Lin, where are you going?" Fang Daming asked. Lin Rui said, "Bring food to my wife." Fang Daming. Jing Hongjun. You're not making any money from a business worth hundreds of thousands, but you're delivering food to your wife. Jing Hongjun knew it was time for him to show off, and said, "Brother Lin, you are not needed for this matter. Just tell me what my sister-in-law wants to eat, Chinese or Western. If it can be ordered, I will arrange it. Brother Lin, don't worry, I will definitely satisfy my sister-in-law. Don't just talk about today. From now on, I'll take care of breakfast and lunch. I'll have them delivered at regular times and places, and I'll come up with different ways." As if afraid that Lin Rui would refuse, Jing Hongjun simply made a phone call, paused, and said, "Hurry up, send it to my company." Lin Rui said he wanted it to be sent to Chen Shuajia. "Put down the phone." Fang Daming looked at him and said, "Wait a minute, what do you mean by sending it to your company?" "My sister-in-law works in my company," Jing Hongjun said. "What position?" Fang Daming asked. "Sales," said Jing Hongjun. Fang Daming's eyes widened when he heard this and he said, You let your sister-in-law do sales for you. Second brother, what the hell are you thinking? Are you getting carried away? Turning to look at Lin Rui, he said, Brother Lin, let my sister-in-law come to my place, and we can do whatever she wants. Damn it, this guy is too unkind. Wrong. After a moment of reaction, he asked, Brother Lin, which sister-in-law? Fang Daming knew that Lin Rui and Chen Shuajiar were divorced. After all, Chen Shuajiar had gone to Hongyuan Financial Management with the divorce certificate. However, when Jing Hongjun heard this, he looked at Lin Rui with a strange look. He felt as if he knew something he shouldn't know. Lin Rui looked at the two of them and said, Shuejiao and I are indeed divorced, but in my heart, she has never left me, and I will never let her leave. To be precise, I want to ask for her forgiveness. Jing Hongjun understood and said a little embarrassedly, Brother Lin, is it because of Xingtang wine industry? Regarding this matter, Lin Rui waved his hand and said, it has nothing to do with this matter. More? He didn't want to say more. Fang Daming sighed and said, Brother Lin, I really need to learn a lot from you. I am really a little envious of you. Are you jealous of me? Lin Rui asked back. Fang Daming nodded and said, that's right. It's a blessing to meet a good woman like my sister-in-law. This is absolutely true. It is said that husband and wife are birds of the same forest, but they fly away separately when disaster strikes. But Fang Daming saw everything Chen Shuajiar did. Let alone other things, just the debt, how many women would be willing to take the responsibility on themselves? At least Fang Daming has never seen it, and that's because his family is in the financial management and lending business. He has seen too many families in chaos, so he has more feelings about it. Fang Daming sighed and continued, to be honest, I don't believe in love anymore. I think it's not easy to meet a good woman. She doesn't want your car, your house, your money, your bag, or your company for meals or movies. She just wants to chat with you in quiet time. Such an ideal woman can only be found in a bath center. You can pick one at will for a few $100s, but she doesn't belong to you after all. Lin Rui. Jing Hongjun. The next day, Jing Hongjun sat in his office, and the first thing he did was to find Chen Shuajiar. Mr. Zheng, are you looking for me? Chen Shuajiar asked with some confusion. I am just an ordinary employee, and Jing Hongjun is the boss of the company. This kind of private interview has never happened before. Could it still be about Xingtang liquor industry? Hasn't the cooperation been cancelled? Seeing Chen Shuajiar coming, Jing Hongjun quickly stood up and said with a smile, Sister-in-law, please sit down. Sister-in-law? Hearing this address, Chen Shuajiar was even more confused and asked, Boss Zheng, what are you doing? Oh, sister-in-law, it's like this. I have two projects on hand, one is Huayu Real Estate and the other is Qingtong Commerce. It's nothing special, so sister-in-law, just help me with the maintenance. The advertisement of Huayu Real Estate is also about to be renewed, so just take over both. Jing Hongjun said. He had thought about this. The original intention was to let Chen Shuajiar take over the position of manager, but Lin Rui rejected her on the spot yesterday. Lin Rui didn't want Chen Shuajiar to be overworked. But Jing Hongjun couldn't just not express his opinion. When Chen Shuajiar heard this, her beautiful eyes widened suddenly, and she couldn't believe it. Huayu and Qingtong have been cooperating in advertising for several years. To be exact, they have been cooperating since the establishment of Qingtong advertising. It can be said that they are two big pieces of fat meat. Many people are coveting them, but these two companies have always been under the charge of General Jing himself, and no one can get involved. Why would it suddenly be handed over to me? Chen Shuajiar is not stupid. Yesterday, Jing Hongjun asked for Lin Rui's phone number. It's him. It must be because of him. But what ability does Lin Rui have to make President Jing care so much? He even calls her sister-in-law, which makes him feel like flattery. With her mind in a mess, Chen Shuajiar bit her lower lip and said, Mr. Zheng, thank you for your kindness, but I have only been in the sales department for a short time and lack experience. I am afraid I will not be able to handle these projects. Sister-in-law, you and brother Lin are a couple, I believe you have the ability. Jing Hongjun said. Chen Shuajiar felt that her cognition was about to be overturned. What is going on? Is there any connection between the two? However, Chen Shuajiar also understood completely that it was really because of Lin Rui that Jing Hongjun gave the project to her. Boss Zheng, if that's the case, then I can't take over this project. Zheng Hongjun was not surprised at all when he heard this, and said, Sister-in-law, this matter is settled. No matter what, I am the boss of this company, and I have to complete the work assigned to me. This. Chen Shuajie really didn't know what to say. Zheng Hongjun smiled and said, the cooperation is not that complicated. I will arrange the specific contract. Sister-in-law, you just need to help me with the contract process. Chen Shuajie felt a little uncomfortable with Zheng Hongjuan's enthusiasm. After saying a few more words, he quickly left the office, which seemed like another world. After Chen Shuajie left, Zheng Hongjuan's phone rang, and he heard the voice from the other end, awesome. If you hadn't reminded me to sell all the shares of Huatong Network in time yesterday, the money would have been lost. So, how did you know that Huatong Network had an accident? Chapter 24 Why You Young Master Yi Qiancheng. That phone call was so timely. If it was a little later and Huatong Network closed the market, you wouldn't be able to sell even if you wanted to. Zheng Hongjun didn't want to reveal anything about Lin Rui, and said, I have my own channels, so just sell it. By the way, the advertisement has expired. How will you arrange it this year? Get the contract ready. The person who called was not someone else. The young master of Yu Real Estate, Yi Qiancheng. The older generation has been friends for many years, so there is no need for them to beat around the bush when talking. Yi Qiancheng heard this and chuckled, saying, okay, no problem, these are all small matters, but aren't you being a little rude? What's going on with the Huatong Network thing? I know that Huatong Network was shut down yesterday, and its boss Zhang Xinghai was detained at the airport after fleeing. But that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is how you knew about it in advance. Don't tell me that Zhang Xinghai called you before he fled and told you to sell your stocks. Most people don't know much about Huatong Network, but for rich guys like Zheng Hongjun and Yi Qiancheng, it's no secret and many things have spread in the circle. But there is one thing, which I only knew after the fact. It has to be said that it was exactly the same as what Lin Rui said. This also made Zheng Hongjun once again realize Lin Rui's strength. Now he really didn't have any doubts about Lin Rui at all. Zheng Hongjun said, yes, he called me in advance. Are you talking to me? Of course, Yi Qiancheng couldn't believe this. The two talked for a long time. Under Yi Qiancheng's constant questioning, Zheng Hongjun had no choice but to say, I know a master who taught me. Yi Qiancheng became interested as soon as he heard it, and said, fuck, Zheng Hongjun, you are not particular, who is it? Do I know him? Well, never mind whether you know him or not, I will treat you at noon today, at your restaurant, the Yixiang Pavilion on Chanbai Road, the food is really good, I will treat you, you pay the bill, meet the person you mentioned, and sign the contract, what do you think? Both Yi Qiancheng and Zheng Hongjun were quite interested in the stock market after learning that some people had made fortunes in it. However, before that, they just tried to figure it out and didn't really know much about it. Now I heard that Zheng Hongjun knew such a person. Who? Most likely he is a stock manager. Zheng Hongjun laughed when he heard this. Food was no big deal. He never spent money on meals at his own restaurant. But when it came to Lin Rui, he hesitated for a moment and said, let me ask. I may not have time. This is a normal sentence. But to Yi Qiancheng, it was not the case. What's the matter? Still holding on. How awesome is this guy? He said directly, just tell me that I, Yi Qiancheng, invited him to have this meal. These young masters have one common problem, which is arrogance. On weekdays, let alone treating others to a meal, even if someone treats you to a meal, it all depends on your mood. What an awesome person. And he's serving it up. Zheng Hongjun frowned slightly and said, there's no problem with having dinner or meeting, but you'd better be polite. I have to be respectful. You? Yi Qiancheng didn't listen to this and said, okay, it's just a meal, he doesn't want to eat. A little bit. Zheng Hongjun called Lin Rui and said, Brother Lin, are you busy? If you are not busy, I would like to treat you to lunch at noon. Lin Rui was naturally happy to make friends with Zheng Hongjuan's friends. At noon, I arrived at Yixiang Pavilion as scheduled. The moment I entered the box, I saw two people sitting there. One was Zheng Hongjun, and the other one was quite unique. He didn't have a single hair on his head, he was a bald head. Before arriving, the two were obviously chatting about something. Seeing Lin Rui coming in, Jing Hongjun quickly stood up and said, "Brother Lin, let me introduce you. This guy is called Yi Qiancheng. Why real estate is his. I don't know what his hobby is. He has a bald head all day long. I call him Ituzi. Why real estate, Lin Rui knew. Currently, 3 real estate projects have been developed, Huayu City Phase 1 and 2, and Shahar Garden. Both the location and the housing quality are very good, and the people are also very receptive to them. In this era of booming real estate industry, Huayu Real Estate has really taken advantage of this wave and has developed very well. It is also one of the best real estate companies in the city. Get lost, this is called my personality. Do you understand my personality? Yi Qiancheng glared at Jing Hongjun, then stretched out his hand towards Lin Rui and said, "Brother Lin, right. It's our first meeting. Please take care of me." That being said, however, at the moment of shaking hands, there was a hint of arrogance between his brows. To put it bluntly, this handshake was not for Lin Rui, but for Jing Hongjun's face. Ever since Lin Rui appeared, Yi Qiancheng had been looking at Lin Rui. He originally thought that he was an older man, but he didn't expect that he was so young. Lin Rui shook hands with him, knowing what Yi Qiancheng was thinking, and said with a smile, "You are too polite. The food is already on the table. Very rich. Very grand." During the chat, most of the topics were about stocks, which made the two of them stunned. Yi Qiancheng thought, this guy looks young, but he is quite experienced. He didn't understand a word he said, but it didn't matter. He looked at Lin Rui and said, "I really have to thank Brother Lin for his advice. Otherwise, I would have lost money if I invested in Huatong Network stocks. Actually, I have no other intention in meeting you, Brother Lin, today. I want to ask you for help with the stock market. Of course, as long as I can make money, the fees are fine. But I don't know how much you have done in the stock market before." After hearing this, Lin Rui glanced at Jing Hongjun and to be honest, he was a little surprised. It seems that this meal is not about making friends or anything like that. It is obvious that he regards himself as a stockbroker. It was not to the point of being rejected, but he was a little unhappy inside. Because of Jing Hongjun's favor, he chuckled and said, "I think you misunderstood, Mr. E. I am not counting on the stock market to make money. I just took the opportunity to invest. Before this, I have never been involved in the stock market. This is the truth." But to Yi Qiancheng, that was not the case. Never been involved in the stock market. What is this, rejecting yourself? Lin Rui, right? You don't think highly of me? Or do you not dare to accept my order? Yi Qiancheng looked at Lin Rui and said, "I won't waste my time talking to you. I can give you the highest commission in your industry. You just need to make sure I make money in the stock market. But I have to make it clear in advance that if I lose, you have to compensate me for all the losses. How about that? Is that okay?" Hearing this, Zheng Hongjun's face suddenly darkened. What did he think of Lin Rui? He said quickly, "Brother Lin, Qiancheng is a straightforward person. Don't be like him. He doesn't know anything about you, Brother Lin, and that's not what he meant." Lin Rui waved his hand, signaling him not to speak, and said, "It's okay, since Mr. E is taking care of my business, it's a good thing." This was completely to give Jing Hongjun face. He turned to look at Yi Qiancheng and said, "Mr. E thinks highly of me, so it's okay for me to help you invest once, but there's no need for a small amount of capital. Besides, my commission is not low. Since we are talking about business, let us just talk business. As for other things, they don't want to get involved, and I won't get involved." When Yi Qiancheng heard this, he raised his eyebrows slightly and said arrogantly, "Just tell me a number." Lin Rui nodded slightly and said, "Then let's make it 5 million, for a week, and I want half of the profit." 5 million. Yi Qiancheng smiled and said, "Have you ever managed a large stock of 5 million yuan?" "No, but I have confidence." Lin Rui chuckled and said, "If Mr. E hesitates, just pretend I didn't say anything." Upon hearing this, Yi Qiancheng sneered, looked at Lin Rui, hesitated for a moment, and said, 5 million is no problem, but what I want to know is, which stocks do you want to invest in? Pharmaceutical industry. Lin Rui did not hide anything and said, Huadong Pharmaceutical will soon have a good market. With 5 million, we can make a profit of about 2.2 million. Huadong Medicine. Yi Tiancheng knew this stock, and its performance had always been quite satisfactory. A profit of 2.2 million in just 1 week. It would have taken a 40% increase to achieve this. How can you be sure? I really want to know what you base your judgment on. Lin Rui chuckled and said, dream on. What? Yi Tiancheng burst out laughing on the spot and said, har har har, please don't make me laugh. According to what you said, you don't have to do anything, just sleep every day and have a dream, and you can know the stock trend. Lin Rui nodded slightly and said, almost. Okay, if you don't want to tell me, I won't ask any more questions. Yi Tiancheng looked at Lin Rui with a solemn look and said, I invested the 5 million, but there is one thing. Since you mentioned the specific profit, how should it be calculated if it is not achieved? If it were an ordinary person, let alone 5 million, even 50,000 would not be invested so rashly. But who is Yi Tiancheng? He is a famous young master in Chun City. He has no shortage of money. He is just playing with his heartbeat. What's more, he saw that Lin Rui was very arrogant. I have to admit, there is indeed a bit of a confrontation going on. Lin Rui understood what he meant, smiled faintly, and said, I'll compensate you. Chapter 25 How to Chase a Woman Without Being a Bit of a Hooligan. This meal ended hastily. Zheng Hongjun escorted Lin Rui out of the restaurant and said apologetically, Brother Lin, don't mind. Tiancheng is a bit arrogant, but he doesn't have any bad intentions. He didn't mean that at all. Very good. Lin Rui said. For him, Yi Tiancheng invested 5 million and took half of the profit of more than 2 million. The extra 1 million was equivalent to free profit. Zheng Hongjun said, Brother Lin, I know that you are doing this entirely for my sake. I really didn't know that this meal would turn out like this. I didn't arrange it properly. Lin Rui smiled and said, it's nothing. I still like rich people like Yi Tiancheng. After all, not everyone can take out 5 million, and not everyone is willing to take out 5 million when we first meet. I still owe it to you. There are other customers like this. Can you introduce more to me? Zheng Hongjun didn't know how to respond to this. But I also understand what Lin Rui means. Yi Tiancheng is just a customer, nothing more. After watching Lin Rui leave, Zheng Hongjun returned to the private room. Before he could say anything, he heard Yi Tiancheng say, Where did you find this guy? He's quite pretentious, but I hope he's really capable. Just shut up. Zheng Hongjun looked at Yi Tiancheng and said, You have no idea what kind of person Brother Lin is, and you have no idea what kind of opportunity you have missed. I don't want to say too much about Brother Lin, but there is one thing you have to remember. If you still regard me as a friend, you'd better respect Brother Lin. Yi Tiancheng was stunned when he saw Zheng Hongjun's solemn expression. He said, Hongjun, what do you mean by this? We have been friends for many years. Are you going to turn against me for such a thing? He is just a stock trader. I am happy to invest a little for fun. If I am not happy, what does he mean to me? Shut up. Zheng Hongjun looked at Yi Tiancheng and couldn't help but cursed. What the hell is in your head? Don't you think about it? If Brother Lin only knows how to trade stocks and is a stockbroker, is he worthy of me calling him brother? Yi Tiancheng blinked, then he came to his senses and said, Can you please just say what you want to say? Why are you beating around the bush with me? Zheng Hongjun shook his head slightly and said, There are some things that I will never tell you without Brother Lin's permission. You don't need to ask too much. You will soon know what kind of person Brother Lin is. I can tell you clearly that it will definitely make your jaw drop. After hearing this, Yi Tiancheng became even more interested and asked, Why? Could he be the son of a wealthy family, or a third-generation rich man or something? Neither. Zheng Hongjun continued to keep the secret, saying, It's even more awesome than that. Believe me, you will definitely regret what you did today and missed the opportunity to make friends with Brother Lin. Yi Tiancheng snorted and said, I regret nothing. I paid the money and he did the work. We have a vested interest in this relationship. I will not give him less commission. There is money to be made, so why wouldn't he do it? Do you really think Brother Lin owes you that little money? Zheng Hongjun said this, raised his hand and patted his bald head, saying, Your head is really hopeless. Get out of here. A little later, Lin Rui's phone rang. When Lin Rui saw Chen Shuajia's name on the phone, he was extremely excited. This was the first time Chen Shuajia had called him since the divorce. He picked up the phone immediately. Before he could say anything, he heard Chen Shuajie angrily say, "Lin Rui, can you please stop doing this?" Lin Rui hesitated for a moment and said, "Shuajie, what's wrong?" Chen Shuajie said angrily, "What's wrong? I want to ask you, is this the condition you negotiated with Mr. Zheng?" "Yes, you helped the company with the Xingtang liquor industry and avoided risks, but this is not the reason for you to use it as a condition. You asked Mr. Zheng to give me the advertisements of Huayu and Qingtong. Do you know what this is called? This is equivalent to asking Mr. Zheng for money directly. I didn't do anything, but today Huayu's order was signed and it landed directly on my head. Do you know how everyone sees me?" Lin Rui really didn't know about this, but he could understand what Xing Hongjun meant by this, and said, "Shuajie, I'm not very clear about this matter, but I think Hongjun is optimistic about your ability, so he gave the business to you." Bullshit. However, Chen Shuajie felt that Lin Rui was not lying and asked, "Isn't this really the request you made to President Qin?" "Really not," Lin Rui said. Chen Shuajie said, "Even if it's not, it has something to do with you. You need to talk to Mr. Zheng about this matter. I can't accept this order no matter what. I can't make the decision on this. The company is not mine. President Zheng doesn't need to go through me for any decision he makes." Lin Rui said with a smile, "I think your General Zheng may want to train you. My wife is excellent." "Lin Rui, please stop doing this, okay?" Chen Shuajie's tone calmed down a lot, and she said, "Don't interfere in my life anymore, and don't send me anything anymore. I know you make money, but a meal costs at least 1,000 yuan. I can't afford it, and I don't want to afford it. Don't waste money anymore." "Then I'll do it for you," Lin Rui asked. There was silence on the phone, and after a while, he said, "It's up to you." Feeling that Chen Shuajie was about to hang up, Lin Rui hurriedly said, "Wait." There was no response, but Lin Rui knew Chen Shuajie was listening, so he smiled and said, "The pillow and quilt have always had your smell, but I can't help but wash them, right? Can you pack a set of yours from my mother's house for me so I can change?" Beep beep. Lin Rui put down the phone with a smile. How can you chase a woman without being a bit rogue? Besides, it's not considered as being a hooligan if it's done to your own wife. I immediately edited a text message and said, "Really, I can't sleep without smelling your scent." This time the message came back. Roll. Look, this is just a reply to the text message. That's progress. Chen Shuajie replied to the text message angrily, and subconsciously smelled herself. It seems, there is no special taste, right? This bastard. The next day, Lin Rui brought breakfast to Chen Shuajie again. The difference is that the house keys were placed in the bag. After Chen Shuajie arrived, she saw the breakfast on the table. She didn't want to care about it, so she pushed it aside and even wanted to throw it into the trash can. However, after hesitating for a while, she still pulled it over. People are curious. Even if they don't want to eat, they still want to see what breakfast is made. Then I found the key. You can recognize it at a glance. This is the key to their house. So much so that throughout the morning, I kept looking at this key from time to time. During the lunch break, I couldn't help myself and returned home with the key. When he got downstairs, he hesitated for a long time, not knowing whether Lin Rui was at home. At home, I will question him face to face. Yes, that's it. Chen Shuajie went upstairs and opened the door, only to find that Lin Rui was not there. She couldn't tell whether she was disappointed or something else in her heart. She had thought that the house would be extremely messy, but surprisingly, the house was very tidy and clean. This has never happened before. I don't remember Lin Rui ever cleaning the house. He looked everywhere, then went to the bedroom and took off all the sheets, quilt covers and pillowcases. I was about to leave, but I hesitated again. Found a new set and replaced it again. Chapter 26. Sister-in-law ate it. Lin Rui used his nearly 3 million yuan to buy shares of East China Pharmaceutical in the exchange in several time periods and in multiple transactions. As for Xing Hongjun and Fang Daming, Lin Rui only gave them a piece of news. The specific investment was up to them. He did not ask too much about this aspect. When I got home, Chen Shuajie had naturally left long ago. The key was still left at the door, just as Chen Shuajie had left it before. Regarding this, Lin Rui was not too surprised either. Open the bedroom door. I saw that the bed had changed its appearance. Lin Rui raised the corner of his mouth, a smile appeared on his face, and he called Chen Shuajia. Not surprisingly. Rejected. Lin Rui didn't care. He edited a text message and sent it over, saying, "The whole bedroom is filled with your scent. This way I can sleep more peacefully. I can't bear to open the window for ventilation." The phone call came quickly, and Chen Shuajia said angrily, "Lin Rui, are you perverted?" "Yes, I think what you think is not perverted," Lin Rui said a little roguely. Chen Shuajia exhaled lightly and said, "Lin Rui, are you done yet? What I said is true. There really is a special smell, and it smells nice. Didn't you notice it yourself?" Lin Rui said. Chen Shuajia was on the other side of the phone, her face slightly reddened. She sniffed it carefully again, and asked into the phone, "What is the smell?" "The smell of care." Lin Rui said with a smile, "If you didn't care about me, why would you change my bed sheets? Don't you think that I am a grown man but clumsy? Now, their whole room is filled with your presence. Originally, only the pillow and bedding had your scent, but now their whole room and my heart are filled with your scent." Chen Shuajia said angrily, "I will set the house on fire tomorrow." "Okay, I'll give you the key tomorrow morning and bring you breakfast too," Lin Rui said. Beep beep. Chen Shuajia hung up the phone and threw it aside. I felt very angry, but not too angry. Her mind was full of Lin Rui's shameless and scoundrel words, which reminded her of the campus. She didn't know how Lin Rui got her dormitory phone number, and he called her from time to time. When she didn't want to answer, he targeted her roommate and forced her to answer the phone. After she answered, he got her. She looked down at her belly and said, "Is your dad annoying? When you grow up, don't be like him." This was basically said subconsciously. After saying, his expression became gloomy and he fell into some kind of deep thought. Then, he frowned, covered his mouth and retched. She was somewhat used to the pregnancy reaction. It was uncomfortable, but she forced herself not to leave the bedroom, otherwise her parents would definitely find out. She was not ready to tell her family yet. The next day, Lin Rui was awakened by a rapid ringing of the phone. I picked it up and saw that it was a call from Jing Hongjun. "Hello," Lin Rui said. "Brother Lin, have you watched the news?" Jing Hongjun said excitedly. "What's wrong?" Lin Rui asked. Jing Hongjun said excitedly, "Brother Lin, Huadong Pharmaceutical was on the front page of today's news, saying that they have developed a new drug for the treatment of ALS, and it has passed clinical trials and will soon be used in all aspects of our country's medical industry." Brother Lin, regarding Huadong Pharmaceutical, are you referring to this matter? In fact, this is obvious. The development of domestic medical care has always been a matter of great concern to the people. We have to say and admit that compared with foreign countries, the country is not a little behind in medical care. Why many people cannot afford to treat their illnesses and take medicines? It cannot be said that the government is not doing anything. The cost price of many drugs is there. Foreign drugs suck the blood of the people and will not let go. The price cannot be lowered. What else can be done? Take ALS for example. Before this, there were no effective drugs against it in China, and most of the drugs were imported from abroad. There were countless families who could not afford it even if they sold their property. It's okay now. Having our own medicines is a blessing for many unfortunate families, and it is also a testimony to the rapid development and rise of my country's medical industry. It's hard not to attract attention from all walks of life. Lin Rui thought it was something else and said calmly, "Yes." After getting Lin Rui's accurate response, Jing Hongjun became even more excited and asked, "Brother Lin, when will Huadong Pharmaceuticals stock start to rise?" "Today." Hearing Jing Hongjuan's excited tone, which was very different from before, Lin Rui chuckled and said, "How much did you invest to get you so excited?" "I invested 3 million. Jing Hongjun said, "Brother Lin, this is not a question of how much to invest, it's a feeling. We have insight into the opportunity, the kind of feeling that clearly knows that we can make money, and the fact is that we are really going to make money." He had never experienced the feeling of seizing the opportunity and being able to verify it with his own eyes. How to say it? It feels great. Especially when he saw the news, his heartbeat quickened and his scalp felt numb. "You got up early enough. You're not going to be keeping an eye on the affairs of East China Pharmaceutical, are you?" Lin Rui said helplessly. What time is it now? It's past 6 in the morning. What the hell? Jung Hongjun exclaimed, then he realized that he was so excited about the news that he didn't pay attention to the time. He hurriedly said, Brother Lin, did I disturb your dream? Sorry, I'm sorry, it's my fault, Brother Lin, go back to sleep quickly. If I disturb your dream, I will be guilty. After saying, just hung up the phone. Lin Rui just asked simply without any other intention. It must be said that these people are a little crazy. I was no longer sleepy. After getting up, washing up, I made breakfast for Chen Shuejiao. Although after the report from the receptionist, Chen Shuejiao didn't eat a single bite, but sincerity can move mountains and open up new horizons. Since she can think of herself when she sees breakfast, Lin Rui wants to appear in Chen Shuejiao's mind every day. How else can I go about seeking forgiveness every day? What we want is a brand new beginning. On their way to Chen Shuejiao's company, Fang Daming also called. He had also seen the news about East China Pharmaceutical and was as excited as Jing Hongjun. He invested more than Jing Hongjun and invested for million in the stock market. For million is not a small sum for his family's company. It is basically impossible to transfer such a large amount of money from the company under normal circumstances, let alone invest it in the stock market. Now his father is still in the hospital, and he has the final say in the entire company, which really makes his life possible. He blatantly took his father's money and made his own piggy bank. After Chen Shuejiao came to work, she subconsciously looked at her desk. She has kind of developed a habit these days. Sure enough, I saw breakfast there, and also the key to their house. As soon as she saw the key, she remembered Lin Rui's robe words yesterday. She pouted her red lips slightly, pulled the breakfast aside, opened it and took a look. It seems to be a little better than before. It's not just the same, is it? This is a plate of fruit and vegetable fried rice, topped with a poached egg that has been cut into a heart shape with a knife. Hesitate again and again. Chen Shuejiao still took a bite. What she didn't know was that the little receptionist was secretly watching her. Then he smiled, took out his phone and sent a message to Lin Rui, saying, Brother-in-law, sister-in-law has eaten. At this moment, Lin Rui has arrived at the stock exchange. Jing Hongjun booked the VIP room for Lin Rui for several days. The moment he entered, Fang Daming had already arrived. The tea and other things had been prepared and served clearly. When he saw Lin Rui, he excitedly talked about the affairs of East China Pharmaceutical. Lin Rui looked very indifferent. Suddenly the phone rang. When I took it out and looked at it, I was immediately excited and a smile appeared on my face. Fang Daming saw this, came over, and asked with a chuckle, Brother Lin, what's the good news? Why are you so happy? Lin Rui smiled and said, your sister-in-law ate the breakfast I made. Fang Daming. By the way, there's news about Huadong Medicine, and its stock is going to start rising. You're making a lot of money but I don't see you looking so happy. Are you so happy just by having breakfast? Lin Rui glanced at Fang Daming and said, you don't understand. Fang Daming gave Lin Rui a thumbs up and said, Brother Lin, I don't understand, but I have to say that my sister-in-law is really lucky to have such a good man like you. Okay? When Lin Rui heard this, his heart ached. Chen Shuejiao just wanted a simple life, 3 meals a day, and be happy, but how could she have deceived her heart before? Whenever he thought of this, he wanted to slap himself in the face.